Hello. Happy Friday. I was going to say good evening, but that's so cringy. That's so cringy. That's so weird. That's so weird to say. Um, Hi. I really want to leave this music on in the background a little bit, but it's so distracting to me and I don't know how to hear what you guys are hearing. So I don't know if it's like too much or whatever. Anyways, hi. I am excited. I'm really excited about today. I'm really excited about today. I have I have thoughts. I have various topics. One that I am so excited about, one that it actually was painful to watch. Being the second one being Seth Myers' interview with Blake Lively. I literally, when she started talking halfway through her sentence about this, it hurt. Like I felt physically ill. It really hurt. So yeah. And then a bunch of other things. And also, let's talk about Justin Baldoni a little bit because she's taken over. I mean, it is her, she started this, it is her lawsuit, technically. Um, but we're focusing so much, and this is credit to Elsie for bringing this back. And I've thought about it every time that I start and I not label title these lives and things, and I'm like, oh, I just I'm just talking about, I just have Blake stuff. I don't have anything about Justin Baldoni. And I've been thinking about that for a few weeks, and then Elsie posted some things, and um I also like remembered because I'm like, oh, he's a great guy and all for him. But then when you see him, you're reminded like, oh yeah, he's that great. He's that good of a person. At least he seems that way. You know, we don't know either of these people personally. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any of these people personally, so who knows? But based on what we're seeing, so yeah, I want to just throw out because it's such like um a small little tidbit. Um, is Marvel a bunch of like bros? And when I say bros, I don't know if I'm using this term correctly, but basically, sorry if the music is too loud. Basically, like the locker room situation. Remember, like with Trump and Billy Bush, how everyone was talking about like locker room talk. Oh, that's just like guys being guys and blah blah. And I think Dua Lipa or Marina. I don't know why I'm like getting those two confused, but one of them even had a song about bros will be bros or whatever. I think it was Dua Lipa, or was it Marina? Anyways, Marina from Marina and the Diamonds back in the day. And yeah, it just feels like Marvel is a bunch of bros because it's too, and I don't know Marvel completely, but I'm talking, sorry, this was distracting me. It was like a white hair to them. I've given the microphone white hairs. I've given the microphone white hairs. Um yeah, I was watching earlier this week Andy doing Popcorn Planet doing a video, I think on the Marvel conversation in the lawsuit. And that's what popped into my head. What is the whole like, oh, it has to be a secret and it's top secret? And honestly, like, I don't think anyone really cares anymore. How many years has this happened? Besides how Nice Bull it has passed and gone, like it's not like he's going to be brought back. I mean, you never know because I feel like also Marvel is like a soap opera but for guys because I'm pretty sure people have come from the dead and have switched. I just recently saw that it Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow or something, and then now there's like another person, another actress playing her, and then there's Spider Man. Sorry, well Superman too, but Spider Man is just constantly changing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Andy said, "You look like a moron" to Ryan. And I was like, whoa, well, strong words from a fan. Strong words. Hi, Angel. Hi, Arnaldo. Yay, you're finally feeling better. I'm so glad. Yeah, it sucked hearing about it. Hi, Maria. Because it's like there's nothing we can do, and we're hoping to. I'm speaking for everyone, but yeah, I was seeing in the chat like we were all hoping that you'll feel better. Hi, Maria. Yay, the OGs, the us. I was anticipating that this will be a pretty small live. I don't know if anyone else will join, but I'm excited anyways. I'm excited anyways. I really wanted to do Wednesday, but I I didn't even get to Zumba Wednesday. I didn't have class this week. I don't know. This week flew by. How was everyone's week? How's your week? I know, Arnaldo, you're probably like feeling like, "Woo, my week's, well, maybe not been great." I don't know when you started feeling better, but definitely got better. Um, but yeah, how has everyone's week been? How's your Friday going? I My Friday was weird. I didn't go to Zumba. I was a little late, but not because of that, because I didn't mind going in late. But I woke up like from the like tiniest nanometer, not even centimeter, millimeter, nanometer of my head to my nanometer at the bottom of my feet. It hurt. I overworked out yesterday, so it's like it's not very smart. Smart is to rest a day in between workouts and things. Yay! Today you felt fully healthy. So happy. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. It was like, yeah, it just seemed like it was dragging forever and I felt so bad. Um, but yeah, yay. Just in time for the weekend. Just in time for the weekend, Arnaldo. So, yeah. All right. So, talk about Marvel. Um, I didn't even look to see if there's any new things. I've really been laying low as far as well, Court Listener hasn't really done much, and lately, yeah, they're catching up. I think it was just too much. There is this one new one, probably. N- no, you didn't, Maria. I don't believe it. Oh my gosh, you win so much. I want in. Can it be like the lottery where like you put in some money and then you split it? Can even be like split like percentage wise, like whoever put more money in gets more of the wins that Maria has. Just kidding. Okay, so yeah, so there's let me pull well, yeah. Penn Badgley was on Jimmy Fallon the Tonight Show, right? Yeah. He didn't say anything about anything. He's just promoting you, which is, you know what? I'll get to it. I'll get to it because there's something funny. Um, I'll just preface with who followed on Seth Myers, who followed Blake, his other guest, the mom from A Nice Indian Boy. Did they talk about the movie? No. A Nice Indian Boy just came out, and I know, like, and it's so weird that they were selected theaters and then they disappeared. And I started wondering, is this Ryan and Blake's power move? Like behind the scenes, working hard to suppress this movie being released in streaming and so forth, because it was just kind of odd that, first of all, it was odd to me that they were on the same show on the same date, and then second, and she was talking about her book and stuff. Hi, April, welcome, happy Friday. Have my shoot. I switched screens and I didn't see my different audio mixer. Um, yeah, so yeah, isn't it weird that they were on the same show, in the same night, Blake and her competition. It sounds so weird to say, but basically, I mean, not really at all, but as far as like, she's suing Wayfair, and here's this person that was in a Wayfair movie. And then, secondly, it was weird even more that she didn't get any questions or talked at all about the movie. And online, I believe, and I'll pull her up, but I believe, sorry, I'm like, I need to get, want to like check that out. But I believe that she has talked about the movie and how awesome it was. So it's not like, what's it, even her name? Sorry. Oh gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself so much. It's not like she hated the movie or whatever, and it just came out, but it didn't really come out. It kind of came out, and then it was like the Groundhog Day of the movies. Like it popped up, and then it went back into its hole and burrow hole, and haven't heard from it again. And it was such a good movie. It's such a good movie. Zarna Garg. There you go. I'm curious now. I'm skipping around. When I get excited, I like skip around. So she has a new book out. I didn't know she was a stand-up comic. Um, Awesome. Um, let's see. Because she was talking about the movie. Hmm. I can't tell. The thing with like Instagram, I can't tell if this was like how long ago this was. April 20th. Okay, we still can go a little bit way back. All right, so here's like with the movie. I'm guessing this is book, movie, husband, kids, secrets will be spilled. Lord help me. So she was on Jimmy Fallon on April 9th, just a little over a month ago. A little over a month ago, not even a month ago, almost. And she was talking about everything, her life, the stand up, the book, and the movie. So why couldn't she talk about it on Seth Myers? There's a conspiracy for you. I do Spidey senses, not to like bring Marvel. Is Spider Man Marvel? Whatever, comic book stuff. Not to bring Spider Man into this and Marvel into this and whoever. But my Spidey senses, or if you've watched Over the Hedge, my tail is wagging, my tail is vibrating, whatever. I forget what the turtle was saying. Like something's off, and my Spidey senses will blame it. I don't know. I might not win the jackpot like Maria, but I'm placing the bet on there's something fishy behind the scenes. Like, oh, you can't talk about the Wayfarer movie, the show, the talk show that Blake will be on in that same night. Like, you just can't do that. And also, Spidey senses placing bet on it probably is something shady, or maybe not shady, like shady, not necessarily illegal, or well, I guess it would be moral around the movie not coming out on streaming, not even having like a streaming date, like, oh, it'll be on streaming, will be on this platform, so on and so forth. Hmm. Seth's people could have advised her of the. Oh, sorry, can't read tonight. Of that since he is repped by the. Oh, is he? Is Jimmy Fallon repped by WME? Oh gosh, I like to I like to do my research in like the private mode because I have my, what do you call it? I just feel like I'm not good at research. Okay, well, Kate's in point. I couldn't find anything. He might not be. Um, so that's why Blake was on Seth. That's why. So it was interesting. Oh my gosh, skipping ahead. I have other things to talk about, but I guess this is like the most exciting or the most relevant or whatever, the thing that's happening the most right now. Um, uh, oh yeah, yeah. She threw shade at sorry, my brain's struggling this week. She threw shade at Weekend Update, Blake Lively. Did any of you guys? I'm sure you've watched probably other YouTubers talk about this, but have you any of you guys like seen the full um, thing? I think Andy. I almost I almost watched his whole video. I literally just before coming on. I think he kind of went through all of it or most of it. But yeah, there was it was awkward. It was awkward. It was it just felt talk about bots. It felt like Blake was replaced by a bot, by AI or something. It was really strange. She talked so much about ice. Not not even ice. Like here's an activist thing, Blake. Not that ice, like literal ice that you put in water. It's like water that's frozen. And then she talked about something else. It was just so weird. I mean, she talked about Frozen then and building a business. He brought up the building a business, whatever. So, um, okay, creative artists agency. I don't know any of these agencies. I probably should know, but I'm not trying necessarily to be an actor or I don't know anything. I guess so far. Um, all right, so yeah, that makes sense why she went on Seth Myers because it feels safe because it is safe because they're probably like telling him what to say, what he can't say or whatever. Like there's a lot of pressure for sure if he's part of WME. That is so deceiving, but we know that. Um so yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm curious though because I don't know if she's been what's her name again? Zarna. I want to say Karna. I don't know why. But yeah, I wonder if she'll be on other talk show hosts or yeah, talk show hosts, other talk shows to talk about her book, and then we'll see if she brings up a nice Indian boy movie that was just kind of there. Um, what not even a month ago, then we'll kind of know it was just like the WME thing. But yeah, anyways, so I will get into that. I will just kind of briefly go over what is coming up. What do I have on the list today? Oh my gosh, so much. There's as far as like Blake Lively, there's Crystal Ball without a crystal. Is it without a crystal ball? She posted a video that I watched a couple of days ago around a potentially fake lawsuit, a lawsuit that like basically they changed their story including like the guy's name, but it was ending up the same, like physically the same person, but suddenly he went from like I don't know, Rob or something to like some other name. I don't know which one was even his real name. I'm guessing the second one was his real name. I think it was like something Vishy or something, like Vishy in my head. I don't know why. Um, and that was like really creepy. If that's true, that is, I mean, beyond messed up. That's beyond messed up. I have I'll feature Tilton Lawyer's video because he said something that was like a good reminder and from experience. So that was awesome to hear. Just like quickly um, tuned into his video. I think he filmed it earlier. And then we have I will show it in slow motion. This whole Blake's mom saying, "Should I cry?" I still hold to my belief that she did not say that. And watching it today in slow motion and literally like trying to go to make my mouth go like as she was going and like what words kind of would come out if I moved my mouth the same way. So far from it. Um but I have no idea. I have no idea. It was frustrating. I'm like, I'm not a leap reader, lip reader. And I'll go more in depth about the Seth Myers. I have so many thoughts on the Seth Myers thing. I have so many thoughts, not that many, but many. And then some other things. Oh, and Colin, Did anyone catch Colin Jost's potentially other jab at Blake Lively? I didn't. I don't even know when it was because I've watched the the weekend updates really for SNL because I didn't really care that much about anything else. And I missed it. I don't know where this was. Maybe it was like a while ago. Maybe it wasn't currently. But someone made a post about that side by side. I'm like, oh my gosh, was this? Maybe it wasn't. Then I also have some Justin Baldoni things. And what is this? Oh shoot, I doubled my points there. Um, if I get to it, and I hate saying this, I hate having it and not getting to it more so. Um, some just news that I have from last week, I think, or earlier this week that I didn't get to, including um, Bernie. Okay, I'll talk. Because I really don't have much to say about Bernie except Bernie Sanders. He was kept out of the election 8 years ago, something like that. And yeah, it makes sense. 8 years ago, math adds up. And now he's making a really big comeback, and he's probably they're talking a lot about AOC. I forget her name. Darn it. I my brain, the way that it is today, and my I've been under the rock for so many years, and coming back from the under the rock, they're going they're not meshing, they're not helping. Um Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Okay. So, her how she's potentially running for 2028 if we will have an election that year. I found this. I whatever. Anyways, so the only thing that I wanted really to like highlight was don't give up. Don't give up. Um, Bernie is such like an inspiration. I feel to any of us who like not politically, but because you might agree, you might disagree, sure. But as far as like you don't give up and you are freaking loud and you stand your ground and you stand your ground and then even if you're missed one time, two times, three times, however many years he's been missed, like it comes back and he's like loud enough to make his presence known. And brings, I mean, he has some mic drops lately, like crazy. It was really funny the other day that he had said something. Something about like how Trump did a rally or something in some city recently, that the same one that he was in. It's like great that you got 3,000 people to come to you in that same city that we just had like 30,000 in or something. I was like, whew, Bernie. Bernie's bringing the burns. Yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like he should be more inspirational to all of us as far as like resilience, as far as just sticking to, your beliefs and getting your, facts, or like just not giving up, not giving up. So that's what I really wanted to say about Bernie. But yeah, some other things. It was like the history of Taiwan. If anyone's interested, I found this interesting article that talks about it, and I had spoken before about it just briefly, and I was like, oh, I need to look this up, and I never got back to it because last Friday was like crazy, and we just ended up talking about Blake. Um, and then also sad news as far as I'm not familiar with this at all. Besides like the highlights, I'm so sorry, but um, uh, is it one or the biggest victim of, was it Jeffrey Epstein, something Epstein, um, died like a few days ago or a week ago now, I guess, or so. And that was so sad because it was even quoted, I think, by her family that it just got too much. The trauma just got too much. And that's a real thing which kind of would be a great segue into the Tilted Lawyers video. But I don't know. I'll I'll take the risk of not using that segue. And then I want to, I don't know if in this one, I hope in this one I'll get more into Katy Perry's concert, because I actually did watch it. I found one online and I did watch it, and it's not as bad. It's not amazing, but it's not as bad as people say. And I also listened to her recent album, and I scored like, they're like four songs that I think are good, and then some that are neither here nor there, and then a lot that are just, to me, just like bad. Like, this is, you should have waited a little bit more for, you know, finishing this album. And then my favorite, this is, I started talking about how like I had a favorite story. I want to talk about Etoile. I want to talk more so about this one tidbit of this one interview between Luke Kirby. Sorry, sometimes I have to focus on like how to say certain vowel sounds, because you have different vowel sounds for the same vowel in English. Luke Kirby and Gideon Glick, is it? I think. Yeah. I love this show. If anyone's interested in a show, April, I think you were saying it sounded like you had some sort of a similar interest in shows and things. I would give this a try. I really like this show, and I am like delaying watching this final eighth episode. I can't unsee it. All these like only 8 episodes kind of seasons. But anyways, yeah. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely try it. And let me know. Let me know if this is not, not your thing, or I mean, not living up to my my enthusiasm for it, and that you've been interested in it. All right. So let me, before starting with this, wait. Let me make a poll really fast, and then can I add things? Oh my gosh, this chat is a kind of weird. Um, I don't know. Can you guys hear this music, or am I just like playing it for like nothing? While I'm writing this poll, I'm going to keep it a little bit higher up. Is this better? All right. Let me catch up with the live. I'm gonna pull it low again. Can you hear me okay at this level with the music? Because I am trying to figure out the levels that I'm seeing versus how you guys hear it. One day I'll said okay. One day I'll try to figure out the technicalities of it. And Dave Neal, happy 40th birthday to Dave. I almost wrote in the comment my happy birthday comment to him. I almost wrote like, how does it feel? Because I'm like, wait, May, June, July, or June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I'm 7 months. He's 7 months ahead of me. I cannot believe that we're the same age. It also kind of makes me feel a little better because he has a young child. However, Tasha, I believe, is younger, and I don't have anyone. So it's like I'm like, oh, I'm almost there. I don't know if it'll happen in time. So yeah, but okay, anyways. But yeah, happy 40th, big 40 to Dave. It seemed like he destroyed, or was it him or Augie, or like was it Ghost that destroyed his studio? Because I saw on, I think on Instagram story that like a planter fell in his studio. The mic arm broke. Like it was just craziness in there. Okay, so I heard she's trying to push all this PR because she's going to be in a blockbuster film and she's gaining sympathy so the film won't fail. Oh, interesting. Blake Lively, you mean? Um, let me let me pop onto the imdb.com because I don't remember her being in anything, but I guess they could not list they I don't think they would be able to not list it on IMDb. So that's interesting. IMDb, Blake Lively. That's the biggest thing. Do I still have IMDb Pro? Yeah, I think so. Where am I looking? What am I going for? Oh yeah, and how she's a Seth introduced her as the producer. I was like, oh, okay, not really, but all right. Is it Proxy? In this tense in this tense sci-fi thriller, a woman miraculously reawakens after a medical trauma to discover her consciousness has been embedded into a biosynthetic body. Why do I feel like that's been done like recently? That sounds very familiar. Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyways, who is she playing in that? That's in pre-production. Oh, she's the only one. Okay. This is, I think, a Hungarian person, which I'm gonna say something bad. I don't know if he's Hungarian. The look, yeah, okay, Hungary. It looked Hungarian, the name. I wouldn't be surprised that that's the only person that wants to work with her, because I don't feel like they're very well known in the recent years for like human rights, and you know, acceptance and love and stuff. Anyways, okay, so interesting. Probably it's not that one, I would imagine. Um, the making of. Wait, why did I get like why did I? Oh, because I clicked on here. Long married filmmakers have cast over emotional actors to portray their younger selves in the story of their great love. Unfortunately, by the time shooting begins, their fabled marriage is unraveling. It sounds like a 48-hour film project, which, by the way, I went and I haven't signed up yet. I'm really nervous to sign up for it. But yeah, I went to a mixer and I met some really cool people that, for once, they don't like horror movies and they're fed up with the horror movie scene here in Ohio. Like, it's just horror movies, and we're like, no. Okay. It's probably this one, My Husband's Secret. Darn it, I did the same mistake again, because I remember reading about this one. The lives of three women all come crumbling down after one of them women discovers a secret letter by her husband. Okay. I thought you guys were saying, yeah, that's the one. There's no one else. This is in post production with no, in development, sorry. And there's no one but her. And I remember because it has Christy Hall, who wrote for It Ends With Us. That's so weird to me, because these are, in theory, I mean, if it was a blockbuster movie, which I don't think I pronounced that right, it would have been filled with some more people in development. Maybe not in pre-production, but in development, would imagine. So that's weird. Leanne Moriarty did Big Little Lies and works with Reese. Oh, was it? I'm guessing that's a she. Was she in here? Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, her and Reese would be friends. I don't know. I feel like Reese is like this like strong very clear about morality kind of woman, but also sometimes I feel like she's non. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, she writes, oh gosh, I can't. Okay, wait, let me catch up. I can't. I'm trying to see too many chat windows at the same time. Having too many conversations. Okay, so I saw someone in a short mentioning it. I think people want her to have said it. Yeah. Um, what do you mean by Jasmine Crockett? Was that to the AOC thing that I was saying? Um, or is that the person that's mentioning it in online that Blake might be in something big? I don't see a blockbuster here. I'm pronouncing it wrong again. Sorry, guys. Um, shoot. Yeah, I thought why can't I see this chat window? Okay, thought you couldn't remember her name. Oh, okay, yeah. It was Alexandria. I forgot again. Ortiz. Okay. Anyway. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, and I've known of her for like a long time, but okay. I heard something she was talking about. I don't remember. We are all going to be deported because Trump wants the USA to himself. Yeah. Well, but I don't think he wants it to himself because who will give him the money? He wants our money. So like he can't be rich without our money. Not that he's rich. I don't know if he's rich because there's so many not stories but like actual documents that show that he's maybe not bankrupt, but like it's like rich people stuff where it's like, oh yeah, I have the money, but they don't really have the money. They don't have the money in the bank account. They have the money in like stocks and whatever people have that are rich and American and know the system. um I feel like oh, and yeah, and I was doing this like vlog just before. um he cut funding, or he signed an order, executive order, whatever that means now, to cut funding from NPR and PBS, which I thought is kind of ridiculous because if you watch PBS, most of it is cartoons for kids. Most of it is like Sesame Street and stuff. So I felt like that's kind of stupid. But he was probably aiming for, maybe he was aiming for that too. Like, oh, you're indoctrinating kids with like critical thinking and learning colors and stuff, knowledge. Oh no, but probably like the news, right? Because it was also saying like it was about biased news and things, and I'm like, I got chills. I got like I'm really scared that, not just for my life and stuff, but like I'm really scared because it's not stopping, and it's looking so clear, but so many people are not seeing it clearly and would absolutely think that I'm exaggerating if I'm saying what I'm saying now, that I'm scared for my life or whatever. So um yeah, it's just like and it's also just dumbfounding how, like, it's literally what, how many years, hold on. I'm like dancing here in the music that you probably don't even hear. Yeah, so it's kind of almost 80 years only since the last time this is happening. I didn't even know that it was this way that it happened, because when we learn history about World War II kind of era, we learn, I guess, the basics or whatever. Maybe Romanians probably learn more and Europeans learn more, but in the US you get like highlights of history. And and so I didn't know that it was pretty much like this. Like um I don't want to say his name, but he got elected to Germany, and like just like this, just legally and stuff, and then he just kind of started dismantling things using Germany's own constitution, started using it against itself basically, and all of this is happening, and then you have things with Israel, they're kind of doing the same thing in a way that they had done to them, or like getting there. And it's just like, what world are we living in? That was only 80 years ago, not even 100 years ago. Why are we like freaking repeating this so strongly? Did we just like it that much? Did we like, who's having this power? That what are they on? And that's the other thing too. I think all people are good people at their core, and they're all trying their best to be safe. And I think that's how we operate. All of us operate from that. That doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. And so yeah, but like, I forgot. My brain short circuited. I forgot what I was saying. But I don't know. It's just kind of shocking to me. The one thing that I feel is hopeful is to see how many people are actually protesting, in person, online, sharing, posting. And the more we know, the more we know. And the better we can like decide. And it might be too late. It might be, or I don't know, too late, or just like, not meant to be, but just like unable to be redirected or whatever. Like, it was just already from the beginning, from like, because like humanity hasn't evolved past this. Like, we'll still repeat this mistake until we do, until like more, or like enough people are tipped to the other side of like good and love, and good and love, that the people tipped on like greed and hate and othering people and all this stuff, are like outnumbered. I think that's kind of what has to happen in humanity, and I don't see that we're there yet. And it's like scary, and it's sad, and it's not fun to be just like that generation, just another generation. I think we all wouldn't have loved to be the generation after the world, goes bad again. But yeah, there was also something I wanted to say to that. Um, hmm, I don't remember. What did I was just talking about it. It was like, oh yeah, I've meant to talk about that, and I forget. Anyways, again, um, I feel like people are latching on to what AOC and Bernie are saying because of how bad it's gotten, but it could have been even better if they listened to in the first place. Yeah, well, yeah, and that's like kind of to my point now. It's like, like, I think people. Oh, I remember what I was saying. People are just not tipped over to that side of like enlightenment. um and even the people that are, even me, I'm not like that enlightened, um or knowledgeful, or knowledgeable is probably the correct word. Case in point. And yeah, but I know that I'm, for love and peace and good, but even that I'm not perfect in. So I do think that like it's a greater humanity kind of aspect where like we're just not evolved to that point. And good for Bernie and AOC, but Bernie for sure has just kept going, has not freaking stopped. And this man is like older than all of them, I think, and he has not stopped. And that's how you grow. You just don't stop. And you help people, and you help society, and you help humanity. You just don't stop, and you don't give up, and you don't give in to doing, the greed and the bad, because, like, what's the point? I'm just one person. You keep going. That's I guess the other part of the Bernie Sanders kind of thing is like, he's just one person, but man, has he had a voice and inspiring so many people. I remember, like, um I mean, I voted for him in that primary, and I was excited. And I think we do need, and I was saying this like the last time, this past election, like, Bernie was probably maybe the only person that could have actually defeated Donald Trump in this election, because he's kind of the same energy, like unrelenting, more speaking to the people, not filtered. He's just kind of himself and just saying things, and a bit more strong voiced than like, oh, I don't know. It's like, like I think Republicans and Democrats have been like just middle ground energy, like not very, you know, big energy, like trying to please everyone. And what do we know about pleasing everyone? You can't. If you try to please everyone, you please no one. And that's, I think, what Democrats maybe, hopefully, have learned. I don't know. Um, yeah. So, um, yeah. Maria did not like Maria's comment earlier. Yeah. Um, Virginia Guifra. Don't give me those names. I'm I shouldn't say that I'm not originally from the US, but I'm not originally from the US. I am a US citizen, but that sounds like it's not meaning that much anyways. Allegedly that's shady to me, and that she kind of just that kind of got justice of all his victims. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, the victim. Yeah, yeah. Um I'm glad you co-sign. I've been interested. That's Etoile. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to talk about Etoile. I might leave that to the end. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I want to say also, I've talked about beauty, that I think there is objective beauty, and to ignore it and say that everyone's beautiful and there's no ugly and there's no this. It's like, okay, let's not be unrealistic. But to say someone is not pretty or beautiful doesn't mean, or even ugly doesn't mean that you look down on them or whatever, or whatever. Anyways, so Luke Kirby. This is such a weird segue. But Luke Kirby, he is he's just quirky. Like his personality, the way that he talks and his mannerisms, like it's just quirky to me. It's odd. I can't define it. It makes me feel uneasy because I don't know. It's unfamiliar to me, and I don't know like what to feel about him. Um, but yeah, anyway, so he in every like show that I've seen, Maisel in this one, it's like he just has so much charisma and charm, charm, or charm, whatever. But yeah, I'm so excited about that movie, or that show. Uh, yeah, I'm about to be 40 April. Well, I mean, 7 months, 7 months away, but yes. I think it would depend on how far into pre-production they are. She's gonna be a sexy robot. Oh my gosh, I don't want to see her. I don't want to see her. I just don't want to see her anymore. I it's she's so ruined for me, as far as like hearing her voice and seeing her fake smile, because it is fake, and I don't think anyone's trying to say that it's not fake. It's just kind of that pageant smile, like you just smile. Yeah, I think about that, by the way, in Zumba class, because I'm so serious. I probably look like I'm not having any fun, and inside I'm having so much fun. But I'm so European. Like, I don't have that, like, yeah. I don't have that. But I also think of how there is something to it. When I smile because the instructor looks at me, I'm like, oh, yay. It does, I feel it, you feel when you're smiling, so I'm like, oh, there's something to that. But it's just, I can't help it, especially when I'm trying to like catch up and learn the steps, because I still am so new to it. Smiling is not really at the top of the priority list. So yeah, but yeah, smiling is good, but I don't want to see her. I just don't want to see her. And after the audacity that she had saying what she said on Seth Myers, it literally made me so sick to my stomach. I said that same thing, but that's what I felt. That's what it did. I heard A Simple Favor too is a copycat from a Spanish film. Probably. Isn't it though a book? Um, let's see, what Spanish film? Another Simple Favor. I want to watch, speaking of this in Italy now, because that's where it was filmed. Wow. I just was talking about this like trainer's enunciation or whatever, and here I am, lazy talk. You know, when like people just don't try to talk, and they're just like they just say me sounds. There's this guy on 90 Day Fiance, and this like old dad, and he might sound like that because he doesn't have teeth. I think he has teeth, but it sounds like either he doesn't have teeth or he's just so lazy that his mouth muscles aren't engaged to actually create consonants in speech. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't see any on my quick Google search what movie that could be, but it could be. But I thought it was a book. I thought it was like after a book. Um, and I thought so because you guys said, one of you guys said that. To be very transparent, I don't know, excuse me, that much about A Simple Favor. Because that's why I think they're talking about the third one too. I did a 24-hour theater project. Ooh, yeah, that sounds intense though. So, what did the 24-hour theater? I don't know if you say, you don't say, but what does it entail? That's like pretty crazy intense. I feel like, um, that's crazy intense. Like, do you get a kind of a topic or whatever, and you have to create the thing and you put on the play, or man, that sounds crazy. That sounds really cool. I love 48 hours film project. None of it sounds good. Not sure what that was for, Maria. um oh, the other Maria in horror. Yeah, i I have to remember that. I don't know. I always forget. And then every time you say that, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so fun to like know you guys. Hi, P. Welcome. If you're still here. I don't know. A writer, director, producer, actress. Are you talking about Reese or that Leanne, or however you say Moriarty? Anytime I see Moriarty, I think of the guy from Sherlock Holmes, the one with Benedict Cumberbatch. Sherlock. Yeah, this guy. He was so good as this, and I've seen him in other movies, and I cannot bring myself to watch him in other movies or take him really seriously in anything other than this role, because that was the first one I saw, and he was so good. This show was so good. This show is the reason I went to England to study directing. Uh, or just film in general, but directing is what I wanted to study. The what is it? 2000 what? 2000 something? 2012? Yeah, Sherlock. Andrew Scott, yes. Oh, Hot Priest, yeah. Yeah, what was that? What was he a priest in? Because I think that was the other one after this, and I was like, I can't see anyone but Moriarty. And then also, did you know, um, what's her name? Billie Eilish, her song, the Crown song. You should see me in a crown. I think that's because she was watching Sherlock, and I was like, oh my gosh! And so now they're like Fleabag. That's right. They're like mixed together, meshed together. That song and him. What's his name? Andrew Scott. This is why like my brain is not really functioning. And Sherlock. I want to see this show again. It was just like so wonderful. The things that creatively they did was just like really great. But yeah. Did you say what you did for the 24 hours? How that went, April? I'm curious. The 24-hour theater project. Um, not the way he is going on. Wait, what? This is like, it's so fun to be on the chat, but also I'm so delayed, like reading it, and I'm so behind. And then you guys, this is why I have two chats going, but then I get confused. Um, And I grew up on PBS and oh, not the way. Okay, this was like to the whole political thing, not the way he's going on. I grew up on PBS and adulted on NPR. I love NPR. I I didn't. I grew up on NPR when on road trips. My stepfather, he would put NPR in the car if it wasn't for like my, oh, let me put, my CDs. I had my CDs with my music, or maybe iPod at that time, and I would like blow out their ears with my bad singing. Or to put me to sleep, they'll be like, oh, how about, that audiobook that we got? How about we put that on? And that would always get me to sleep, and I would fall asleep to basically Michael Crichton books. That's what I remember. Super awesome. And then NPR in between, when we were around an NPR station. And it was when the Ukraine war started that I gravitated again towards NPR. I was doing DoorDash, and I had enough of music. And so I didn't want any music radio channels, or whatever they're called, stations. Yeah. This is how much radio I listen to. And I was like, let me, like NPR. I remember that one. I put it on, and I started listening to it, and they talked about the distrust American people have, and how it's leading to kind of bad decisions, or like the decisions we're seeing in politics, and just how dangerous mistrust is. Fun fact, another fun fact for the night, uh, was a Norwegian Finland, Norwegia. I think Finland was the top happiest country or something. They're all kind of, I feel like they're competing, for the happiest country, and no one can touch them. But I was watching this documentary saying that is basically why, because they have a very good culture of trust, and trust in the government, but also, again, because, hey, government is by the people for the people. It's supposed to be, but in the US, and the tough part with the US is because it's so big, it's not really gone that way. It's for some people, but not all people. And it's starting to be by some people, even not for all people, not by all people. So yeah, but yeah, anyways, NPR. Yeah, I haven't listened to it kind of since, but I remember I remember just like hearing more, not necessarily I don't know, objective, how can you define that? I would say objective, but the tone they used in presenting stories is not sensationalizing. It's very kind of monotone, but it also has like human feel to it. But it's very like factual sounding. Does that make sense? Like it's not like a YouTuber for sure, but even like CNN or Fox or whatever, they have certain words they use. They, even if their like actual physical tone is kind of also monotonous sometimes. Um it's still, but it's not monotonous. It has some sort of like underlying current of emotion that they want you to experience watching this news or hearing this piece of news, and the word choices that they use. Whereas NPR, I feel like, is quite, it's kind of humanistic, but also quite neutral, if that makes sense. So I liked NPR, and I loved PBS. I was an Arthur person. I loved Arthur so much that I also watched it in the recent like few years. Um, Also never watched Sesame Street. I've seen, obviously I've seen clips, but I've never watched Sesame Street. I was, I think, maybe too big for Sesame Street when I got here, or it just didn't appeal to me. I don't know, something about it. The colors, I think also the colors were a little too like primary. I don't know. Something about it just didn't appeal to me. But I know it's huge around the world. The guy from Ted Lasso, he was saying that his like favorite thing was in the whole world in his life was like being on Sesame Street. So, and he's from England. Um, we'll talk about Wrexham too. how it's kind of like Ted Lasso, and that bothers me because I love Ted Lasso. I don't want to support Ryan Reynolds though. I love Arnaldo. Like, oh, it's so exciting. Oh my gosh. Um, P, but I think you missed Arnaldo's feeling better, P. Um, Happy Friday. I had a very liberal U.S. history teacher in high school. He used to go in on America. Oh, that's kind of cool. See, that's cool too. But I always think about when I think of history and anything in Romania. When I went in like seventh grade was the last time I went to a class in Romania, and it was like so in depth what these people were like writing about, like the essays they would write in seventh grade on, like, I mean, they were like high school or college level here type of essays in seventh grade on history, and they would go in so much depth and in history, and I think they would cover so much more history, whereas here I think it depends on the state, it depends on the city, it depends on the school, it depends on the teacher, and it's but I feel like, so I might be generalizing and it might not be everyone's experience even here, but it seems like here it's quite like high level. Like even if someone is like very opinionated, a professor, a teacher is very opinionated, like they don't go in that breadth and depth of history, is what I was trying to say. They saw who benefited from the atrocities. Uh, Mushrooms? That is one really odd sequence to read. Like, they saw who benefited from the atrocities, and then Maria says mushrooms. I don't really, I don't really follow. Humans are dumb. We are destructive. I want to believe what you believe. Yeah. Um, we're getting there. Oh, that again, I forgot, and I remembered what I was saying, like the tipping point. I think we're, whenever this might offend some of you. I don't know. I don't know you guys personally, and I don't mean ill. I don't mean to, like, I don't know, offend you or whatever. But when I think of like this tipping point and like this camp of humans being like enlightenment and love and peace and evolved and, good societies and reciprocity and all these things that are kind of evolved societies, and then I think of now greed and all this stuff. I also think there's the higher brain functions, the like imagination brain functions, the things that are not in that first primal brain, and then there's the like primal brain of like fear and kind of binary, almost like this is a danger, it's a not, or not a danger, um and things like that. And it's also, I think of how we are attracted to people and the things that we find attractive as far as like books and movies and things that we like to see. And I think of the people who, women and men who are into someone like they would be as if they were back in the days of, like, let's call it caveman days, of you're looking for a mate that has certain biological um favors, like certain type of shoulders or certain type of body, or like for women, like having hips for like childbearing to not to like be easy, or like more healthy, more like they don't die in it, and things like this that our biology just kind of like scans, like, okay, this is what we need. Whereas like the brain that kind of has evolved from that is like, okay, we have all these like technologies that can counter those things. So I'm looking for someone who has intelligence more, and I'm attracted more to that. And that's what I'm kind of scanning for, rather than like a certain body type or whatever. And I think a lot about. Uh, there was this one. I was like over some people's house or whatever. It was like a house party sort of thing. And it was one of my college friends and his friends and his wife and her friends, I think, or something like that. Or like other girlfriends of the guys or something. And I remember when it was Magic Mike and 50 Shades that was brought up. And I was like, oh my God. These women are like, they're still seeing through that kind of like primal lens. And I sometimes I wish that I would get it, but also I don't. Not because right, yeah, like I do value growth and I want to keep growing, and I value that. I do. From early on, I guess maybe ever, but for sure, like when I was thinking of like making movies, I wanted to make movies that were aspirational, not snapshots of what's happening or what is, or like what was. You know, it was like the future. How can I see a better world on screen that I can be inspired by and aspire to? So that was like always my thought. And my ex, I think, even, I don't know if he like ever, you know, started to believe me or like see that this is real, but I think he kind of always believed, and he might still believe that is not real, that uh, people, you know, if we want to genderize it, in his mind was like women, but or girls, but that people can really be attracted to someone's mind and not really body. And like that's what I see. I remember in high school, like there was this guy that I liked, and he was not good looking, probably, not probably, kind of. But like he didn't even like come across my radar until he said something interesting in class, and I was like, ooh, who is this guy? And that is me, and those people exist out there. So yeah, so I'm that's kind of like also what I was thinking, like Magic Mike people are kind of more like, all right, let's get past that. You know, not that you can't appreciate people's bodies and you can't see beauty in bodies. I'm not saying that, but like that being the only way to scan for mates, for partners, you know, or like be really giddy, like, oh, look at that, they're at those abs or those shoulders. Again, things, because I think of that in terms of like science of biology. That's your um like the core of you that needs to replicate. That's what's speaking right then. It's not, you know, you per se, if that makes sense. I don't know, but then also intelligence is kind of the same thing, but it's just kind of like, okay, getting past just the physical because we're kind of taken care of so far. I don't know. April, have you watched gosh, I completely forgot the name of it. Paradise. What was that on? I forget what channel that was on. Was it on Apple TV? No. Disney? I think it was a Disney Hulu thing. Um, I loved Paradise. Yeah, it was a Hulu one. Uh, you might like it too. Um, why have it easy when we can make everything complicated like Blake Lively? Yeah, I actually wrote this in my notes. Like, what is she doing? Like, what the heck happened? Why is this so necessary? Why is this so necessary? Why is this happening? Like, why is this happening? And also, like, we have so much worse things. Why are we why is this so important to her? It just yeah. Um who wants a bowl of cherries? Yeah, yeah. When you can have, what's that? Was it the yellow dragon fruit? It's not even the spikiest. I don't know what a spiky fruit is. Um, he makes sense to me, and he's proving it. Don't remember what I was. Sorry, don't hate me. Don't remember what I was saying there. In teams, writing the script, producing it, rehearsing it, and performing it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to do that. I think so far I've only acted the most in a theater performance. which is weird. I had like so many pages and so many lines of dialogue, and everyone's like, "Ooh," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's a lot." But you get into it, and it's the story. I don't know. I was the least stressed person, and I was not a native Spanish speaker, and it was my first ever theater performance or any really, but especially theater, which is live. It's not like you can just cut and re take another take. And yeah, maybe it was like that naive part of it, but no, I was just very prepared. I was very prepared from my high school teacher, what he taught us, and then my Meisner, and I was just like in it. I was just present. This is fun. And it was also like a dream. I remember like literally I stepped out on stage, and I loved Spanish because of Natalia Oreiro from Muñeca Brava, Argentinian telenovela in Romania. I saw that. So I always loved Spanish. So I kind of learned more than we're sadly taught here in the US. And then also knowing Romanian had helped. But so I was like not completely like, you know, super deep end of it. But yeah, I remember stepping on stage for the first performance, and I was like, literally, I was performing and I was saying my thing, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm on stage. I remember when I was like little, and I remember my inner dialogue. I remember saying like, it's not exactly what you thought and what you wanted, Arena, but it's like close enough. It's like you're on stage. It's not like you performing and dancing, but you're like, it's a different type of performance. You're not singing and dancing, you're like acting, and but it's a stage. Like you finally got on stage. It was like the most exciting thing. And I was still like, doing my lines and being very present and everything. But yeah, and I remember that I'm like, whoa, I'm like thinking about this and doing at the same, what is going on? But I was just too excited. She said a lot of nothing. Yeah, she makes no sense. She said that she wants to be. Sorry, sometimes I put words. She said she wants to be the voice for women and girls. Nobody asked her to be. And from what Tilted Lawyer said, Omar, not only nobody asked her, but people just strongly don't want her to be their voice. She just takes whatever she likes without caring of others. Caring of others, yeah. Um, NPR is extremely balanced and matter of fact. Yeah, matter of fact is like a good phrase for it. Yeah. Um, but it also has like human too. Um, like it's really like I feel like every story is bringing it back. Maybe that's why, like to me, the probably core value, which makes sense, public radio, it's people. It's like humanity at the core of it. It's not so much like political parties or whatever. It's like humanity. Like, and that's the thing. Like, they don't really. I think they're democratic, kind of, but like, they don't really. When you listen to it, and when I listen to it, they don't really speak to a certain party or political ideology. They just kind of speak to humanity. But that's my take on it, and maybe that's like what you also feel in people who actually listen or like NPR, and people who don't might not feel that. What are those people on? Oh, mushrooms. Yeah, their brains are full of nothing. Yeah. Zach Live, someone said Blake was basing parts of the ASF to her personal life, like what R does in his films. Wait, what does that mean? What ASF? What's ASF? You watched it, loved it, awesome. Yeah, I talked. You can ask the rest of the crew here. I talked about it so much. Yeah, I loved it so much. Even so much that I actually did Meisner relationship around the two people, the president and the CIA agent. I don't remember their names. Oh my gosh. Xavier and Cal. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Sorry. I'm like, I caught up with the chat. I just kind of felt like I got excited to talk to you guys and see you guys. All right, so let me take a sip of water. Oh my gosh, I get so dehydrated on these because I yeah, it's stressful to drink water for me. I think I think I need a straw or like a regular glass. Even though this is like fun to like keep track, it's really hard to drink, and I usually like spill it all over. All right, so 60% of you, just not a lot of you here, but 60% said Blake. So let's get on to Blake. Oh boy. So, um, should I start with like the craziest thing? I will leave the Seth Myers to the end and just like tackle these like shorter stories. There's this crystal ball thing. Um, oh, another simple favor. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I think she said that. I don't know. She didn't say that, but like she said that it's her favorite character, and some I don't know why I remember hearing in the first A Simple Favor, um, hearing that from like her saying something like that's so much like her, or someone said that and she went along with it or something. I don't know, but yeah. Um, Yeah, and also like she has that franchise and she loves that character. Why not be that character? I don't get it. Yeah. 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 Anyways. Okay. So, let me pull this one up. So this one, so many links. I don't know what to play. I will include this link. Basically, have any of you guys seen this video? This is crazy. Basically, Ryan accused someone of running him over, or sorry, when he was filming some Deadpool movie, he was ran over by a car. Leslie Stone said it was a paparazzi or something. That was the like official story, and then the police filing was a kind of a different story, and it was an interesting story. The first said like kind of basic things, and then they changed the story, and that's basically what I want to say, because I mean she goes into so much depth and so worth a watch. um but the weird thing is that she changed that sorry, Ryan changed his story, and it became suddenly about Blake's stalker, or the stalker of the family or something. And it just got weird, and it starts like her video starts with this, and at first I didn't really even understand this, but
how was the movie, Ryan? How was the movie? Blake, just so you know, I found your gloves on the side here. Your gloves are right here.
they seem like a fun bunch. When the paparazzi, aren't there, they seem like so fun. Not. Um, I also want to say, like, it must be pretty terrible to go anywhere and someone can recognize you and someone can, like, invade your privacy. And some people are more into that than others and whatever. I think this is the guy. I haven't watched the whole video, to be honest, but I think this is the guy that is in the lawsuit that they filed or did.
Your gloves. Your gloves are. I could have kept them, you know. You're welcome.
I feel like this guy is such a paparazzi guy. I could have kept them. It's like I would hate that job, and I would also hate people like that around. I would have a hard time. Anyways, but moving forward, basically, yeah. Let's see, is
a
this?
couple years later. So if I told you that Ryan and Blake have done this before, and that is trump up and fabricate allegations against someone they don't like, someone they feel is a threat to them, someone that they want to make go away, and they used their networks of family and police, and they used their fame, their power, their influence, and the fact that they were bringing a franchise,
The
Deadpool, to
gloves.
Vancouver and promising the city of Vancouver that millions of dollars would be made in the local community of Vancouver and thousands of jobs would be available
Okay, I don't know what that
in the
really.
local community. Brazzo, who was driving a car through an underground parking garage. The driver fled the scene, Leslie Sloan said. Ryan is okay. He hails from Vancouver. He was in town to film Deadpool. His wife Reynolds joked about the accident on his Twitter account on Sunday when a reporter from CBC tweeted at him asking how he was doing after being hit by a car, sending out his phone number. And he said, "Put Beachcombers back on air and I'll call you." Now, that was a show that was once canceled on Canada, and it aired from 1972 through 19.
What does he ever say? He was on Green Day's Star Walk, whatever. They got a star. And I don't know, I just, Jersey covered it and I saw, her clips. And why does he never talk seriously or like make the weirdest jokes, which in small amounts, they're like cool jokes. But like when that's all the jokes you have, that's the only joke you have is the same joke repeated over and over, just different subject matters. It just gets old to me. I don't know. April, you watched this video. They fabricated a lot to make the guy look bad. Apparently, they only dropped it all because Ryan used his bros cop connections to look into this guy. Yeah, yeah. So
They tried to have him arrested for intimidation, a very rarely prosecuted, if ever used, criminal code in Canada. And when the Crown refused to actually use this, his eventual charges were criminal harassment, assault with a weapon, and dangerous operation of a motor vehicle. Fidek was charged on April 12th of 2015. Now, Fidek has sent me a copy of all of his records from this case. I've gotten police reports.
yeah, she has a bunch. I forgot that I didn't finish this video. Oh my gosh, there's so many videos, so little time. Definitely watch it. I just wanted to mention it just that quickly or whatever because it just kind of blew my mind. If this is really true that they created false information to suit their purpose for a lawsuit or for a charge, like going to the police, like again, potentially ruining a person's life, like for real, seriously. That is just so messed up. And these people, they need to be put in jail. I'm allegedly. Like I don't know what to say to that. Like I they need to have some really strong consequences when they've done some illegal things. When is that karma happening? I want to see that karma that I don't believe in. But yeah. Um yeah. So the other part I spoke about was a Shirsty's video, and she had this. Does it? Okay, it doesn't play. And the only thing that I want to really point out, there's two things in this video. One is the mom slow motion, but then uh is he a Green Day member that I didn't know? I didn't know he was a Green Day member of the band. Why is he why is he there? Is he their manager? Why is he there? Why is he there? I don't really care if he's there to get his face into the world, be promoted, PR, whatever, and like say something about them. I don't. excuse me, that's annoying, but I don't really care. But I care about this image. Excuse me, like, why is he actually there hovering over them? I've not seen too many of these, but usually, like I think I saw Jennifer Lopez's, and I think it was like Benny Medina, I think that's his name, like her manager, and like the person that she's like her right hand person through life, not just even in music, but life, was like with her. Maybe, I don't know. Let me actually pull that up again. I'm too shy to show you my my terrible research skills. So let me pull up Jennifer Lopez, star, Hollywood, whatever. Um, oh my gosh, she was with Casper at that time, I think. Did she get it twice? Can you get it twice? No, you can't get it twice. Okay, this is not good researching happening right now. Allegedly, Ryan used a Green Day song in Deadpool. That's it. Yeah, that's what she was saying. Oh, Legally Blonde prequel is coming out. Like, sure. Like, yeah, I don't, this is Hollywood. This is what people do. I don't really care if he's out there saying stupid jokes, that is supposed to be a sentimental speech for them, whatever they do. Um, is it Walk of Fame? Walk of something? Yeah, Walk of Fame Hollywood. Um, I'll just go generic. Of course, Green Day is the only one. Um, let's go with Ellen Pompeo, who supposedly shades Blake in some sort of, was it David Core walk show, fashion show, whatever. I just want to see, if this is like really a thing where people. I'd be so terrible at. Okay, Shonda Rhimes, and I don't know who the other person is. But it makes sense. I mean, without Shonda Rhimes, I don't know where she could have, been with someone else like big, made her big, but like Shonda Rhimes, Grey's Anatomy, that's like just the massiveness of Ellen. I don't know who the other person is, but see, like, it makes sense. I I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Green Day was popular before Deadpool. In fact, I feel like they were a lot more popular before Deadpool. I don't really remember them in the recent years. The last thing I remember was, I think I was in college, and Deadpool was like just more in the recent years. So why was he behind them? Why was he behind them? All you need is for someone of a certain stature to nominate you, and you have to pay for it. Star on the Walk of Fame is also paid to play, so there's a good chance. Oh, okay. Why would he even pay for that? This is so weird. This is just so weird. I just want him and Blake to go away so badly. Ashley Brianna Eve makes great videos on this. Um, oh, I know her. I've seen her around. Did one on dog pool being based on someone that RR had beef with in the past on set. Apparently, the guy even made formal complaints about on Ryan. Oh, well, that's and probably if you break down Deadpool, there's probably a lot of like tea or coffee or juice or whatever. What is like stronger than tea on people that people have that good night P on people Ryan or anyone and around him has dealt with. Um yeah, money buys anything. Yeah, and I would say also like I as much as I really want to like do the movie thing, become a director, have my movies and even still, part of me wants to be like a recording artist and stuff. These things, I don't know, they just don't mean anything. Like, like it doesn't touch my heart. Winning an Oscar or Grammy, I can understand. People, like, it touches my heart when people win those, even though those are potentially also paid off and blah blah blah. But to me personally, especially, like, this doesn't mean anything. I don't know why. It never was. But I again, I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate him being there that way. And the other part was, this is going to be so nitpicky, but I just feel strongly about this. This is one of those, what do you call it? Unpopular opinions, because the internet is like, oh, she's saying, you guys, told me, she's saying, should I cry? She's asking Ryan, should I cry? Well, all right, let's go to slow speed.
Pointing. It's not for us.
Oh gosh, sorry. I'm like, I'm in between all these different things. Um, I muted it because, like, it's just Blake talking or whatever. But she says, like, something like, did I maybe worry? Like, it for sure wasn't like a question to Ryan that required an answer. I don't know what she's saying, but I don't see should I cry. Like, you can try it when you say should, and you can try should I? It's still, whatever she's saying is not that. And cry, like, it could be cry. I don't know, but yeah. Uh, I thought she said just right. Oh, yeah, maybe. Um, I don't know, but she looks out of it. Yeah, she does. Yeah, I was going to say that. I'll say that next. Wait, what did you say that looked like she's just right? Yeah, it does look like at least right. I didn't catch. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's what she's saying. That's right. That's literally what she said. Look at that. We cracked the code. Maria and me, because you said just right, but she says that's. Oh my gosh! Look at that. See, when people work together. What was Blake saying at that time? Sorry, I muted it now.
It's
Oh
not for us
gosh,
to
where
have
am I?
shame. It's for them.
Should I cry? So just footage of her pointing like this. Just look at this.
It's not for us to have shame. It's for them.
Oh, it's not for us to have shame. It's for them, and she's saying that's right. So it looks like it's probably a very true story for her. Or she's saying this believing Blake's take on the whole "it ends with us" thing. Um, yeah, April, like the same thought. What was Blake saying? She low key thinks she's reaching that age. Um, who? Her mom? Um, but yeah, but she does look a little bit out of it. Did one of you say that, or did I say that, or I read into something someone said? Because at first, because she keeps lingering on Ryan, who could care less about her, which is, I don't know. I've seen that before in people who are like just kind of dismissive, like, yeah, yeah, okay, especially of older people, and I don't like that. But um, yeah, but she kind of looked a little seniorish, a little bit like, I don't know, got me worried for a little moment. It meant to say I think she's reaching. um, April, you said it. That yeah. Um, I think I spy. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so there you go. We cracked it. Alert the internet. She said, "That's right." I mean, it could be to what Blake is saying. It seemed like to what Blake is saying because he could care less about her mom. Like he's not even looking at her, paying attention to her. So it wasn't like they had a conversation. But yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be around that, and it could be like something innocent and whatever, or it could be something still innocent, but to us, like we know better than the story being true, apparently, allegedly. Um, so those are like the two of the like mini stories. And then this another mini story. I didn't even catch this when I covered this, and I think I was the first person to cover this speech, but I think there was just so much, and I'm not talk about I Spy. I'm not like the best I Spy. But this person, the way that she put this, I think it's a she. This is real treasure, whoever this is. Yeah.
I'm here to talk about Blake Lively. So much courage. I mean, I saw her take on one of the biggest bullies in this industry that everybody feared. She was like, bring it on, baby. What's your problem? I'm here to talk about.
And yet she couldn't say no. She couldn't, not say no. She couldn't, yeah, she couldn't say no. She couldn't speak up against Justin, to other people. She couldn't do anything. She was just like this helpless wallflower, this very shy, victim. Suddenly, after that speech, after Salma said that she watched her take on the biggest bully, I didn't catch this the first time. And also, the second thing is, um, I still don't know who the biggest bully is. I did reach out to Shirsty back then, and she did end up doing a video, and she said that it was Harvey Weinstein, but she didn't have any receipts to why she believed that and where she got that from. So I'm still kind of questioning, like, who is this biggest bully? Because as far as I know, Blake said really nothing, didn't go against Harvey Weinstein at all. And that was the biggest bully at that time. And especially this was the speech for children being mobilized, basically. I don't know, like traffic. And so, yeah, was it Oliver Stone? Because that's where they worked together on an Oliver Stone movie. Was that? Um, was he the biggest bully? I wouldn't say that he's the biggest bully. He's maybe one from what you guys also said, but like biggest. So I'm still confused about that. I need to see some receipts for that. But yeah, um, I heard it was a woman who had an issue with Blake's mom. Yeah, that's what I felt really strongly about that when I was talking about it because she specifically didn't mention. I feel like if it was a guy, she would have said at least at one point he or something, but it was also always just a coworker did this and they whatever. So highly suspicious. And then Elsie the next day, I think, came out saying that it was a woman. And I talked about how, like, I don't know, because she didn't really show the receipts, but I kind of expect her to be, true. Um, but yeah, walk away, right. And she spent half the press on that movie bad mouthing someone as big as Oliver Stone. Yeah. And JB is nothing in comparison to him. I do think that Justin is kind of regretting. Maybe people warned him. He did say people warned him, I feel like. Um, but yeah, he's probably regretting a lot ever working on her. The weird thing though is that they're so interconnected. Wayfarer and like in Justin's world with like Ryan Reynolds' world. Not so much Blake Lively, but like I said, in A Nice Indian Boy, the guy from Deadpool is on that movie. Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut is with Wayfarer. And then there's like something vice versa too. I forget. I don't know. That was something more recent. I don't know. Do I have it here? Maybe not. I don't know. So, it just, it's not like unusual for Hollywood, but because I feel like they're in like two different tiers. Like there's like Justin and Wayfarer, like little small mom and pop Hollywood, and then there's like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively that are, you know, nepo baby and jerk, I don't know, that like they're just like so higher up, so much bigger, so much more influence and connections and stuff. And so it is kind of odd to me that they have so many interconnections. And maybe that's why, I don't know, I don't really, I genuinely, when you kind of step back, when I step back, I don't understand the why this is happening. I remember that was the first thing that I thought of when I heard about it too in December, and I was like going through such a hard time. I was so out of it. I was like just so underwater in my own personal life. And I remember I was like, this is the lawsuit no one asked for. I remember saying it specifically like that. And I covered it twice on two of my different vlogs. And I was like, this is like, why is this happening? Like, it was just dying down, it was just going away. If Blake is doing this for her image, would just seem like it. Like, if literally she was like, her public sentiment came back, why is she doing this? I now, especially after the Seth Myers thing, I don't think she's doing it to recover the public sentiment, because she could have just laid low. She's developed this new brand. She really wants to be. I wonder if she has like what's the anyone have seen My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? Um oh my gosh, what's the one thing? What's it called? Borderline personality disorder. There you go. BPD. And I'm not saying that as a joke, or all that stuff. And I'm not saying that to like sensationalize anything either. It clicked into my head, and I'm pretty unfiltered. I should name this thing Unfiltered Romanian or something. Because yeah, it's a kind of like a stream of consciousness. That's yeah. Randomosities is, I guess, one short word for that, stream of consciousness. But um, yeah, like I wonder that, because is she trying to be like all these people? Maybe I'm thinking a lot because of what I was saying and what it's Keisha was saying, regarding Katy Perry kind of borrowing from different people in her tour. And so maybe I'm like kind of influenced by thinking of things that way. But is Blake trying to be a feminist like Taylor, compete with her to be on her level of feminism, which I kind of feel like both feminisms are not really great feminisms, and I actually do have a point about that. Like, um, but is she doing that? Why is she doing this? Why is she so? It's like she's trying everything she's doing. Set aside the lawsuit. Everything she's doing in the recent years, what she's been saying in interviews, everything's like for women, for like women's rights. Women are not heard. Women are not taken seriously in Hollywood. And it's so weird, because I'm like, I feel like it's just you, girl. I think people are just seeing you as this pretty face, and that's what you're giving them. And I was just talking to someone recently, I think, that, who you have to be you first. You have to believe. Yeah, last night with someone at the mixer, you have to like believe in yourself, and you have to show who you are. because then people will hear you like, oh, this is who you are. Otherwise, they typecast you in what they think or what you're presenting without knowing that you're presenting that, or what in her case probably like her team and her mom and everyone was kind of catering this image of Blake Lively, and she maybe said like, enough, this is not really fully me, I don't relate to this, and I want to be, stronger or whatever. And so she's trying to convince us of that, and I feel like she's using this lawsuit for that purpose, whether consciously or subconsciously. But yeah, for a second I was like, oh, is she trying on like different personalities, different, like, because I feel like it's borderline personality disorder when you don't have a good sense of self, and then you kind of mimic other people's sense of self because you don't have a good one yourself. And so it made me think of like, is she trying to like imitate Taylor Swift because that's the cool thing? And is she trying to imitate, oh, I don't know. I mean, she's trying to imitate, oh gosh, what's the Giselle Pellico now or whatever, because that's the cool thing. Not to, again, to use that derogatorily, because that's such a heavy case. But, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know if that's it. But yeah, she's just like trying too hard to convince us that she's doing something for humanity, for females, for women, empowering women, saving women. Like she's like this, yeah, she has this like brand now of saving women on Seth Myers. That's what she was saying. Make the world safer for, or safest for girls and women. It's like, who are you? You're not. You're not having a lawsuit towards a guy who barely, if you could even say that he harassed you in any kind of way, barely saying that, based on your points. And I was going to pull them up and read them again. And then, not only harassment, but SH type of harassment you're claiming, that's even like a less, maybe that's even less of a percentage likely based on what you're saying, and based on like all the evidence we've seen and all the history that we've seen from both of them. Like she's done more SH, it seems like, than he has. And so is she projecting? Like it's just, she's trying so hard to do this. I don't know, I'm talking in circles. Well, let me get back to my notes and the chat. um I could be wrong, but if the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, maybe the mom tried to take the wrong woman's man. Well, April. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. We don't know the full story. And I mean, what that coworker did or tried to do is never okay, never right. Um, we still don't know the full story, and it might not even be necessarily like that. So there's so much unknown. We're just taking the words from a very incredible or non-credible source, and where are we supposed to run with it besides the where she wants us to run with it, where we don't think that's where the truth is in that direction. So yeah, it could be something like that. I don't know. It's horrible. I mean, whatever it is, if that's true, it is horrible. Um, y'all agree. Her and Ryan do not know who they are because they don't care to go that deep, or either are somewhat aware of what lies beneath and hate what's there. Yeah, they haven't done like shadow work. Um, or any work, it seems like. I mean, even Taylor Swift didn't do therapy, at least at one point. So, yeah. I don't know. Like I try to give people grace when it comes to therapy, but I think deep down I always judge people for not for not going to therapy, but especially like if you're clearly dealing with things or you're clearly triggered about things, especially in a very strong way, like Donna. Um, yeah, I just feel like I can't not judge you for it. I used to fight for my man. I would give her a knuckle sandwich if she tried taking my man. um, I don't condone violence, but somehow a little part of me does wish that some woman fights this woman. like, um, the women that she is trying to protect and save because she's the savior of women, which is so repulsing. And I'll take Taylor as being the savior of women, even though I don't really fully agree with that, and there's some hypocrisy there too. But like, I'll take that. I don't think Blake is. I don't want to be associated with her at all. Um, when what is happening to my live? Hold on. That was weird. Okay, anyways, in my experience, the people most against it are usually the ones that need it the most. Yeah. I mean, I would echo that. um she couldn't have said almost killed her, but could have been beat up. Yeah, there's so many things, so many things based on how she tells stories and what we've seen from her. There's so many things that are missing that could be like just change the whole story completely. Blowing everything out of proportion, yeah, could have been. Exactly, she could have exaggerated the actual story greatly, yeah. Okay, so talked about this, talked about that. All right, let's get into Seth Myers because then the tilted lawyer thing will make more sense after that. And Colin Jost. Oh yeah, sorry, cover that as well. Oh, and then people have been saying that she ordered Ryan to kiss her. I'm like, come on, we're going too far. That's the kind of is it rhetoric? That's the kind of stuff online that I don't like. Like, let's not be drama queens over here or kings, drama people. Let's have drama, but like have fun, not just I don't know. I don't know to gain sympathy. Yeah, your keyboard, Maria, the keyboards. I turned off my like assist on the keyboard on my phone. Excuse me, and it's really hard. It really messes with you. You realize how much we've been relying on it because I think on Apple with one of the updates it automatically was on and I was like, "Whoa." So I wasn't as good of a typer as I thought I was. um Okay, one second. Let me see. Because I had told my family to send my dog. Um, just human stuff, family stuff. I will say their chemistry interactions on the red carpet feel like she's directing them as a couple. It never comes across as organic or truly romantic. No, but she does that with every single one. And you know what? If she's found the perfect man, the perfect pair to take that or to go along with that or whatever is not very, put down to say as a verb. Because we all have faults, even with therapy, we'll all have some sort of fault or some sort of thing that will be annoying or just bad or whatever. And whatever. So, but yeah, they don't come across romantic. But yeah, to the way that people are saying that she like forced him or she ordered him, um I mean, I feel like people do that when they're nervous too. Like ask like if people liked her, they wouldn't have said the word ordered. They would have said, "Oh, she asked him, she begged him, she pleaded, she maybe that's too strong in the other direction, but like she asked for a kiss to reassure her, to like comfort her or whatever, which is probably what happened. Maybe it wasn't like, maybe not everything is PR, and I don't think she knew, she wasn't on the red carpet, when she was doing that. So it was probably more like, hey, kiss me, or kiss me again or whatever. I don't know. But it could be inorganic like that too. She gets to coach direct him to be human. Yeah, yeah, could be that too. I think he does kind of seem dismissive. True, April, very true. I don't know how to do that. Plus, it is a faster to chat because letters are small. Yeah. Um, like the AI or the help. It's not AI. I guess it was AI, but whatever. Blake's value add to his life is humanizing him. The kids really help. Yeah, that is kind of true. But I feel like for her, she looks less like a human recently. So, in speaking, well, not exactly speaking of that, but the Seth Myers interview, oh, this was painful. This was so painful. And it started painful from the get go because why did she wear this dress? Freaking. I finally said, oh, she finally looks nice. And then she tried to sit down. Words don't exist for like what the heck, who planned this. Did the stylist quit on her, or is she saving money? Is that what is happening, that she's saving money and has not worked with her stylist? Because I remember A Simple Favor, she was super like head to toe, super arranged. That's like a Romanian word I try to make into the English vocabulary, but it sounds very different. Like aranjat, like everything's arranged on her correctly and perfectly. Like everything's in the right spot and just like head to toe, it's all put together. And suddenly, this Another Simple Favor is just the worst outfits, the worst arrangement of outfits stuff. And then this, like, she looks cute, and I was like, why is she in a wedding dress? Like a poppy wedding dress, but still, I'm like, oh, maybe because that's the Another Simple Favor is all about her getting married or something. Um, and then I don't know, I think Kirsty was saying that maybe she's wearing white because, innocence, whatever, but she could have worn something else. I don't know. Either way, I think she looks actually really pretty and great here. And I do think that she is beautiful. I do think that. But what's happening at the bottom where she couldn't. I stopped here because I was like, 254, minute 254. But yeah, she comes in so pretty, so elegant. I'm gonna mute it because I don't really need this. Really beautiful dress, whatever. What is this? Why do you need to look so bad, Blake? Why do you need to look so bad? You look like perfect from the the waist up or whatever, the breastbone up, or I might get SH claims solar plexus up, ribs up, but then what's happening at the bottom? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? She knew she had to sit down for the entire interview. She knew that was the whole purpose. Anyways, Andy, that's all that I saw with Andy, and he also pointed that out because it was like so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I think I peeped a pair of shoes she's worn for promo, so in the ASF movies. Okay. Um, at least she added shine spray to her hair. Yeah. I don't know. Her hair looks like she hasn't dyed her hair, which is that a choice to make it seem like she's having a hard time? But then she's smiling. I don't know. But her hair looks like it looks painted. Does anyone get that feeling? To me, it looked painted. Like I don't know if anyone has seen Frasier. This is not the only reference, but this is the reference that popped into my mind where Frasier's dad painted his hair because he had like gray hair. He painted it like brown or dark brown or black or something, and but with like a spray can or something, and he sat on his chair by the fire and it melted into the chair. That's kind of what I'm seeing with her hairline, that it's just like painted on with like makeup. And it could be maybe she has gray hairs and she just chooses to paint. There is like this like powder or whatever. I don't know, but that's like the first thing that I saw. Her hair, her roots normally look darker. Yeah, like I understand darker roots, but it looks like the edge of her hair is so like buffed, like almost like airbrushed. That's what it's giving me. Um I think, but yeah, her hair. I do like her hair here, and I liked her hair. Was it with the blue dress? I don't know. Which Andy showed that it had like spray tan, and I thought that's going a little too far. Like, come on, like that is embarrassing for a woman. I don't feel like we should like really hark on that. That's a little too mean. But they really went all out on that. With its Kim too. Um, I think she has a feminine masculine. Yeah, yeah. Wait, a masculine feminine. Feminine masculine? I would phrase it the other way if we're thinking about the same thing. Like she has like masculine energy. A stylist would have considered how this dress would lay when she sat down. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if she did this herself, finally she had, she almost made it. She almost had it. Um, if she is not using a stylist to save money, it means that they're really in big trouble money wise with the lawsuit. Um, she's masquerading as feminine, cosplaying even. Yeah, she has very masculine energy. Yeah, okay. So we were all kind of, I feel like, talking about the same thing. Yeah. Um yeah, she doesn't have feminine energy, but she looks very feminine. She is really pretty and she's really feminine looking, and her accessories are very feminine, but her gestures and stuff do have that masculine energy, which is okay. Um but maybe that's also why like she's coming across so disingenuous and stuff, because she's not really embracing herself. um and I don't think she ever will. I don't feel like her family is that type that would like you know go for that. I'm trying to think of like, I'm not trying, but I thought of the rhythm section. She was quite masculine in that. And it was actually kind of refreshing to see her that way, and just like it felt like, oh, okay, so you have range or something, I don't know. Even the way she takes up space and talks, she manspreads and mansplains. She does. She does. Because I want to talk about Justin too later, so I'm gonna stop. As much as I want to chat with you guys, I'm gonna go through this more quickly. But yeah, with Justin, like he doesn't cut people off, and I think even in Jane the Virgin times, I remember noticing that when he was on the panels, like he lets other people talk, especially women. But well, especially women, but as far as like the whole thing that he's about. But in that build interview, I think build, sorry, I noticed that he not only lets the guy talk, the interviewer, but he puts his microphone down. Like it's really like, okay, I'm listening to you. You have my whole attention, my full attention, and everyone is on the same page. Like I'm not stealing any part of your spotlight right now. And I thought that was interesting, especially if you go side by side with what we've seen from her in interviews with Isabella Ferrer and other people, where she like jumps in and cuts people off and like just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks, which in a way I can relate. And it's this covering her definitely makes me look at myself a little bit more like, is that something I should be worried about in myself? I don't know that I would do the same. I don't feel like I've done the same thing, like especially if I would be in interviews or something. I think I would be in between. I do talk a lot, obviously. But yeah, like there is such a stark difference between the two of them. But people might say like, "Oh, but he's faking it." Sure, okay, could be. Um her hairline looks powdered. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's receding. Yeah. It's just weird. It's just a weird choice or whatever is happening. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's just like makeup. She does a lot of that was the other thing, finding out, especially with that dress and seeing the body paint or whatever tanning. And then she mentions it in the scene that we have from It Ends With Us, the behind the scenes, like, oh, it must be my body makeup that smells, or sorry, my body makeup smells, or whatever she was saying. And it makes me think like, why are you faking so much? Why are you tanning so much? Why do you need to look so tan? Why do you need so much body makeup on? Why do you need body makeup on? Period. Like, is this normal? Because I see people around her, like Anna and whoever, like, they're embracing whatever complexion they have. Like, I grew up Romanian, so tanning, my mom always just put me down for being, having white skin. Like, why am I so white? Like, go sit in the sun. So tanning, I understand the tanning kind of aspect. Um, but like, I feel like, just try not so much. Like, she looks like she overdoes it. Like, it looks like really vanity or whatever. Also, I don't do it. Good night, Arnaldo. I'm so glad you're feeling better. Um, yeah. Okay. So sorry, I'm so slow today. I know there are some studies that say some interrupting is good and exhibits alignment or agreement, but she does it to hijack a convo. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm in between, and it does drive me crazy. I had a coworker once that like really got really upset with me that I was interrupting her, and I was like, what the heck? And someone else. But yeah, like with friends, or if they interrupt me or whatever, like not every friend. Some people like get really touchy. And I can understand, but yeah, and also making it about me, like, oh, I have a story I can relate to. I do that way too much, and I realize it's not the best. But I see it as like I'm trying to connect with you and whatever. Um, but sometimes it's a little too much, and it can be like hijacking you. You lose hair after having a baby, especially the hairline. Okay. She can't afford a sunny vacation, legal fees. Yeah, I think she does it kind of like the drinking, probably. She probably does it so she doesn't age, but she looks so old anyway, so I'm surprised because she looks older. We've talked about how she looks older than her age. She's younger than me. She's 4 years younger than me. And people will think that I'm like in my 20s. All right, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stick to the script. I'm gonna get back to the chat, but I'm gonna just like rush or whatever. Just go down my points because there are a few of them. Okay, so Seth introduces her as a talented actress and producer, and I was like, that's debatable. She kind of forced the producer credit on this, and she could potentially have that redacted if SAG actually stays true to their laws, their bylaws, whatever rules. And it's proven that it was by force. Um, they can redact that. They can take that away from her, take it back, the credits. So, anyways, and I said, finally, a cute outfit ish, because I literally wrote that and then she sat down. I'm like, ish, not that cute, not made to sit down in. And then said, oh, they talked about Ryan's gin, and I said, technically, he doesn't have his own gin company anymore, I thought. So, it says, ChatGPT, I asked, does he still have, did he sell it off? Because that's what I remember reading. So he sold the majority of stake, the majority of shares of Aviation American Gin to British spirits giant um, Diageo. Diageo. I don't know. How would a British person why is that a British company? Diageo. GEO. Yeah. In August 2020, as part of a deal valued up to $610 million. The agreement included an upfront payment of only $335 million and an additional $275 million contingent on the brand's performance over the next decade. Despite the sale, Reynolds retained an ongoing ownership interest in the brand and continues to be actively involved in its marketing and promotional activities. But he does not have the majority. He's not a majority stakeholder. He's a minority stakeholder. So, yeah, it's kind of not. Kind of, he doesn't. It's not really his anymore. And it's an interesting thing, I think. I don't know. When I think of that, this is why I don't like businessmen. I don't like Suits. I also don't like Suits, like the new show, the Suits LA. I don't like it. But besides that, I haven't even watched it since I said that this show sucks. I like the first one. But yeah, I've never liked men in suits. I'm such a terrible female. Like, I'm so not a female, like a feminine female. I don't like men in suits. I hate men that don't have like a proportional body, that have like too wide of, I hate, like, this is like girl talk kind of code hate, not actually hating them, but I don't like men with wide shoulders and like invisible hips. I also don't like men with butts either. So I'm hard to please. I don't like muscles on men. Um, Abs kind of look like little worms, so not into that, but also not into like overweight either. I'm just like average. Can I have someone that's average? But I don't even know, because when I look at the guys that I've dated or liked, been into, they're kind of all over the place, and some of them had abs or muscle, some didn't, some were overweight, some were like underweight. Like, it's just kind of the whole spectrum. Some had broad shoulders, some had a butt, some didn't. Anyways, but technically, if I would like imagine, or like whatever, how did I get even into that? What was I saying? What the heck was I saying? Oh, Suits. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, not into uniforms of any kind, including business uniform, which is a suit on a man or anyone. Because it's just lies and just like deception, and everything is like, the same with like stocks and Wall Street. Like, I would have bought stocks when it went down, because I'm like, it's highly likely it'll go up, but I'm like, no, just out of principle. I also don't have money, probably couldn't buy much of any stock that was worth of anything valuable, but I just didn't want to, out of the principle of hating that concept. I don't like that. I don't like deception. I don't like that kind of stuff. Don't Why am I in business? I should have never gone into business, like, you know degree wise. So yeah, she did say the director put his gin in this movie. So didn't name Paul by Paul. And I was like, okay. I mean, she still hates Justin for some unknown, ungodly reason, especially after the things that she says in this interview. I don't understand how she hates him. How, like, he should be the type of person that she should appreciate having in her circle. Maybe he didn't want to be part of the circle and she got like spiteful of that. Maybe it wasn't about a affair and crush. Maybe it was simply like, oh, I love, men that are evolved and whatever, and he just sniffed her. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I don't think that's really true, but I don't know. Just a theory. So she did say that, though. She didn't name Paul. And then also, just a personal side note, because I talk about me here quite a lot, too much. I'm not a huge ice fan, both senses of that word. I'm not, it's also not healthy as far as I know from various sources. Ice is really not healthy. Cold water, cold drinks are not very healthy for the digestion. And also, you can't absorb, like when you're trying to hydrate yourself, like avoid cold drinks because it's harder to absorb. It's harder to like hydrate. Yeah. And also, I mean, technically, hydrating is more than just water. And if you just drink water, you don't get hydrated that much. You need electrolytes, but that's a whole other thing. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just spitting out what I've learned in my, can't believe I'm saying 39 years on this planet, especially when it comes to digestion. But yeah, not a huge ice fan. She puts ice in her milk. Neither here nor there. I also don't like milk, but definitely not cold milk. I cannot stand cold milk. I don't get why that was invented. It's not even natural. Literally, milk comes out hot because it's within a cow's body or goat or sheep or horse or whatever. Um Anyways, I do wanna try horse milk, like the Huns, the Mongolians. Um yeah, I wonder if that how that tastes. I don't know. So random. So yeah, not a huge ice fan myself, but she's a huge ice fan, and Seth is a huge ice fan, and they talk about ice, and they talk about um making a business. He brings this up, so I'm like, oh my gosh, two brains alike. He brings up like, oh, we should make a business about it. And then something turns into like the Frozen movie or like song. I didn't like Frozen. Don't hate me. Didn't really like the movie Frozen. Hated that song. And yeah, I think the story is like moving and stuff, but like I just didn't like the movie. I didn't like the movie. I don't know. So I think I watched it barely. I don't know if I don't remember this song that she mentions. And then um so this is where I paused it cuz yeah, hold on. Let me unmute.
Just kids movies. So like,
How are you kids? I just can't get ahead of it.
all I'm doing is like thinking about Frozen. It's all I watch is kids movies. So like,
How are you kids? How is your
they're
family?
good. Thank you.
You have
don't want to talk
four.
about the ice business in Frozen? It's such a weird song at the beginning of Frozen. We are built. Now I'm gonna
Oh.
sing.
I'm not a parent, so I don't know. I know that parents sometimes don't just they're fed up of their kids and just want a vacation and just one time alone and not with kids. But to not talk about the kids like this, like the way that she says it too, like, oh, you don't want to talk about the ice business and Frozen. You want to ask me about my family and my kids, how my kids are doing. It almost, I guess you could like, I think it's a stretch personally to say that she doesn't want to talk about it, for their safety or for their well-being or after she like posted them everywhere and all that stuff. Um um Hold on, sorry. Dog problems with the parents. Okay. Um so yeah, so I don't think that it was, from some like higher well-meaning purpose. I think it just comes across, and maybe because of the bias that we have now of her, but like it comes across really genuine to who she is, that she doesn't really care that much about family and kids. She cares more about the business. I just constantly think about the attorney's eyes only conversation. It was always about the safety of their businesses and their money, not the safety of them as human beings and their kids and their families. And it just kind of stuck in my mind, and I can't unthink that, I guess. So that's kind of what this comes across to me like. Um, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. It is really weird though. I don't know. Any sorry, any parents want to chime in to like what do you think about that? Cuz again, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. Um say muscles for what? I love that. I love that. If I'm reading that right. Um I love that idea. The way that I'm interpreting your message, at least, which is like, why do you even need those muscles? Where are you going with those? What are you doing with those? Yeah, the questions are pre-screened or whatever it's called. Yeah. I thought she was 40 something. Yeah, I know. She looks 42. She looks 42, and not a diss or whatever. That's what I would say. You know how there was that one video of like foreigners guessing American people's ages or whatever, American celebrity ages, and they always like guess like older. Um yeah, that's kind of maybe what it is. Um I used to sorry, I don't know what is happening with my computer. Stocks are scary. I used to day trade a little. I was good at it, but this guy in charge moves the market too much to be into it right now. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know if it'll, like, part of me wonders if it'll still happen. If it will still, like, what if it all just crashes indefinitely? Didn't that happen? Isn't that kind of what happened? Was the stock market created after the Great Depression, or was it before and it crashed and it burned and then it got recreated? Um, as I drink room temperature water, I need my milk ice cold, even for cereal. This is a point of difference, April. um, but yeah, I mean, I know Americans. I remember like that's such an American thing, and also having it in a bowl instead of a cup. When I was little, it just kind of like I just didn't understand, and now I kind of understand it, especially when you taste cereal and sugar to that level, and you just want more, and you get addicted to it, and you're like, I need a bigger space for this. I need more cereal than it fits like in a little cup. But yeah. All right, but yeah, like I don't know. That's like my opinion with the kids situation. Like what parent just willingly wants to avoid being asked about their kids in a nice safe space. Again, this is not like down the street paparazzi yelling at her about her kids, like how are you the family, how are the kids or whatever. And she talks about it a little bit later, but yeah. Or does she? I don't know. Anyways, then she talks about, yeah, no, she does, because she talks about her one daughter, excuse me, that has a blend of Napoleon and Jennifer Lawrence in her birthday. It's the same birthday she shares with these two other people, and yet she doesn't know anything about star signs, aka astrology. I'm like, what are you talking about? And also, I don't believe that, except I believe she's a Leo, and then I believe it. I believe she is not into star signs because Leos, there's something about them just they seem to not like. I'm like exaggerating because I kind of believe in it and kind of, you know, think every person can be their own self. But um, it does seem like Leos don't believe Leos and Aquariuses or someone else. They don't. They just like, oh, that's crap. That's BS. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah, and then she gets into the intense year. Let's see where
Just like announces that I'm the love of his life at all times, which is like
that's her son, which was kind of uncomfortable, but I was like, maybe I'm reading into this. I didn't really spend too much time really focusing on this part of the segment, but she says that her son, like she loves her son because every time she walks into the room, it's like the love of my life is here. Her son says that to her or whatever. Um, I thought he was too young to speak, but whatever. I don't know. Right? Didn't she just have a son like 2 years? Isn't he like two? I don't know.
My little boy's so romantic. When
Is
I
he?
walk in, he goes, "Mama, my love." Oh, he's just like, oh,
Yeah, that's what he was saying, yeah. So, I don't know.
a girl
Yeah.
in middle school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he thinks I'm like, I hope he says something.
She dresses for whenever she gets dressed up. She dresses thinking like, oh, I can't wait for him to see it. Wonder if he'll like it. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. But if she wasn't kind of shown to be who she's shown to be, would we find this as weird or would we find it endearing? I don't know. I don't know. It's one thing that we'll never know. Because, yeah.
Do your daughters ever criticize your outfits?
Oh yeah. No, one of my daughters has the same birthday as Napoleon and Jennifer Lawrence. So if you imagine like those two blended.
Is that how it works? Is that how birthdays work? You blend?
I think so. I don't know. Because like I don't know a lot about star signs. I heard someone said the other day that if your son.
The other day, she doesn't know much about star signs, meaning like in her whole life she has not been interested in this or whatever, because the other day implies like just a short while ago.
Son texts you and says like, "Mom, I'm on a date. She's asking my star sign. What should I say?" And the mom texts back, "Run." So
That's a very good.
so, like, now I'm afraid to like know too much about star signs, but.
I think she really needs a lot of therapy. I think she needs a lot of therapy. I say this again, this is another moment where I don't mean this as a dig at her. I'm saying this just like genuinely from the heart. For someone to say that, like she is so driven, at least from what she's saying, she's so driven by what other people think to that extent that if someone says something like that, she's probably stunted in her teenage years. They say that I just learned this with, past the Britney Spears being liberated and stuff. That people get stunted at the age they become famous at or, whatever. And she probably is stunted at high school or something. Although in high school I feel not even like this. But yeah, like I I feel like something's not right there when she says this stuff. Um and there's like all the inconsistencies. Like it's like it just yeah, absolutely she does the lies. Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. Like it just sounds like nothing that she has said sounds truthful. But maybe we're all again just biased because of all that we've seen. Because like, how many deep dives have we done on every single celebrity? So it's probably very common to do this, right? Just say stuff and crap. Not all of them do, but you know, we might discover like if we really dig deep into every celebrity, like, oh wait, I don't like this person anymore because you see like the stuff that they kind of make up or whatever. But like,
Yeah, I think there's something with birthdays. Like,
Okay.
she's the funniest person in the world, but
I think there's something with birthdays. I don't think anyone believes that she's that under a rock. Like I was under a pretty heavy, dark, under rock, and she thinks there's something with
she will
birthdays.
definitely like rule the
okay.
world with
Yeah.
authoritarian leadership.
Well, that's something to look forward to.
She'll rule the world with authoritarian leadership. Okay, yeah, like mother, like daughter, I guess. That's probably more likely, not the birthday that she has. Anyway, so then the intense year. Let's see. Is
Yeah.
this?
I mean-
You mentioned you had an intense year. I'm maybe not as totally informed about it as other people.
I'm
But
thrilled
if
you're not doing Weekend Update right now because you would be quite informed. So
Okay.
it's good, yeah.
So that was the dig at Weekend Update, and I went back and I couldn't find much. Like they didn't really say much about her, and I really hope, really wish, really hope Colin and is it Che? They see this and gosh, what's his name? The creator, the person in charge of SNL. I don't know, Buzz Luhrmann comes to mind. I don't know why. But I hope they see this and they like say challenge accepted. Challenge freaking accepted. And I hope they roast her so much in the coming SNL. I just really like, I'm waiting for that so much. There's so much to say, and I will talk about like the one that that Colin Jost might have said in as a dig to her, and I don't know when it was and whatever, but it's a pretty good one. Um but yeah, so yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Discussions with my parents. Anyways, Lauren Michaels, yeah. Lauren. Um, so yeah, so okay, so look, the intense year. I'm not glad. I'm glad you're not doing update. We can update because you'd be pretty informed. And I was like, what? Shade? That was literally what I wrote. A little less what? A little less than I said, but I said it until it felt right to end it.
But were I to ask you about it, I imagine you're in a situation where you can't say much.
Yeah, I mean, what I can say without going too into it is that this year has been full of the highest highs and the lowest lows of my life, and I see so many women
That you created for yourself, Blake. This is like the first thing, and I didn't even have to look at my notes. This is literally, it's just right there. You created the highest highs and lowest lows, and not just for you, but for other people around you. For Justin Baldoni, for example, I don't think he's ever been this low. I don't think he's ever had to like face like just really heavy stuff, and he's seems like he's faced some heavy stuff, but I think it just like nearly destroyed him. So like just shut up with your highest highs and lowest lows.
women
Lowest
around
lows.
afraid to speak, especially right now, afraid to share their experiences, and fear is by design. It's what keeps us silent. But I
This is where I literally, even now, I'm like, I need a pause. I can't just like listen to the whole spiel that she says in one go. It literally, like, my body convulses. My body just cannot take it. I just cannot believe she said that. I just cannot believe she said that. She says, highs, highs, lows, lows. And I see so many women around afraid to, because I transcribed it. So, afraid to speak, especially right now. And I was like, especially right now? Girl, you're like 8 years behind or something. Especially right now? After the Me Too movement? After you have freaking intimacy coordinators, which you also denied seeing? After this, now women are having the hardest time speaking up. The hardest time speaking up right now. Right now, this year, 2025. 2025. Like, I'm not denying that it's hard and that it's still so messed up. I'm just saying now I feel like we've come a little far. Or not far, but farther, like it's again, it's hard, but it's especially right now. Did she like get into a time machine, time capsule? Was she like genetically whatever cryo frozen for like the last few years, and she still thinks it's like the Me Too movement? What was it, 2016, 2017, something like that? I don't know. Let me finish what she's saying.
I also acknowledge that many people don't have the opportunity to speak. So I do.
Oh, yeah. And afraid to share their experiences, and fear is by design. Sorry. And fear by design is what keeps us silent. She's fighting the wrong battle when it comes to fear keeping people silent. There is a much stronger, much more important battle as far as silence and what fear is trying to silence people with fear. Well, people that are trying to silence people with fear, much more high stakes than this freaking lawsuit. And I'm sorry, and this is not, to diminish the victims of SH and SA and worse. Um, that is still very much something, but like I'm saying, like globally and like systemically, like there's a bigger war for her who has not, I mean, allegedly, or what supposedly from what I've seen, I don't believe that she has experienced anything of this. Anything at all, really, period. If anything, I feel like she's inflicted this on other people. She has talked about kind of SHing Henry Golding, although he didn't call it that way, and other people haven't called it that way, but to kind of improvise grabbing his stuff and to talk the way that she talked about it and things. And um, the men in her ads for her Betty Buzz and Betty Booze ads, and all, and another, or a simple favor with the man, like putting her um, feet on the man's back, and the possible racist connotations to that, and all this stuff. Like, ew, just ew. Sorry. And then she goes on. So I do feel fortunate that I've been able to. I'm sorry, every single time, even just reading that, it just makes me like gag. And it's the one, like, not gag like, ew, that's disgusting, but gag as like, it just enrages me so much. And it's the women who have the ability to use their voice that's kept me strong and, helped me in my belief and my fight for the world to be safer for women and girls.
Do feel fortunate that I've been able to, and it's the women who have had the ability to use their voice that's kept me strong and helped me in my belief and my fight for the world to be safer for women and girls. It's a pretty simple thing, but nothing.
And then she gets applause. Hold on, my dog's coming. Let me bring her on for a second, because it's been a while. Have you know what that Fino? Oh, good dog. Good dog. Oh, boy. Oh, this is the dog. She's so big. She's so heavy. I don't usually hold her like this. She's not very fond of this position. She's like, what did I bring who brought me here? What am I doing here? Oh, all right. Oh boy, sorry. That's not a graceful exit. All right. Sorry for the ASMR of her treats. So she gets applause for that. That was like hard to see. For a baby, well, yeah. Being loud and wrong is not the counter to silence and shame. That's really well said. That's really well said. And so like that's like such a full proof or full scan or whatever. Jesus, good dog. She's so funny. Like, she can get up on higher beds, but this bed for some reason just intimidates her. Imagine how lauded she could have been had she championed this cause when yeah. You have a good point again, April. April with the points one after the other. Yeah. Suddenly, like, what the heck? Oh my gosh, yeah. I thought I kind of forgot about that, or I don't know. I think I'm just was a lot more in the present, and I get thrown back to that time. Like, yeah, exactly. Why in the world share her mom's story, even though it didn't seem like it had anything to do with, the type of topic? But it was still like a hard time, whatever. And as an actor, you could absolutely use that experience to like build your character off of, or like to build off of for your character to, excuse me, to be able to relate to someone that's been attacked, even if it's not the same type of attack. How powerful her own mother's story could have been. She could have told many stories. She wanted to sell booze. Yeah, and just like even saying this stuff, even saying this stuff, she was talking about, oh wait, so you mean like share my location? I mean, that was the most awful thing I've ever heard someone say. I've not heard every celebrity say, but as the stupidest, most awful, most disrespectful thing, because the interviewer asked if someone who um, got impacted by this movie, by your character, for the better, basically, like made them leave their tough situation, their abusive situation, etc. Like you inspire them to leave that, to do that, to or whatever. Like, and they want to kind of acknowledge, like say thanks to you, and they run into you, they see you on the street, how should they approach you or whatever. And she just made such a mockery of that by saying, you mean what, like share my location? Or, and the way that she was sitting, and I've said this before, but it's to me worth saying, like she was just sitting like she doesn't care, just like whatever, you know and yeah, yeah. But now suddenly she's saving women all around the world. She's saving girls. She's the savior of girls and women. She's speaking up because other people can't speak up. And she's had such a, what do they call it? Intense year. And the highest highs and lowest lows. Also, also, not when she was filming and supposedly had SH done to her and SA done to her. No, that wasn't the intense year. This was the intense year. It's just like so detached from reality. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So she gets applause, and then it continues a little bit. Um Not really. They get into Wrexham. I said something like, I mean, that is a part of it. Many people choose. What? Oh, yeah. Sorry. So yeah, as far as like her speaking or not speaking about it, I'm, I'm not sure 100%, but my understanding from what I've seen with Desperate Housewives of Beverly Hills and Erica and stuff, um, and other people. And I remember it's for some reason on that show, so many people get sued or something. um, all the shows, there's like the Potomac, Kieran Huger, and I was like, why aren't you speaking? Why aren't you saying anything? And my understanding is some people are not allowed for legal reasons, and sometimes people choose not to, so to not self-incriminate or say anything, because like when they read you the rights, Miranda rights, ideally they read that to you, and they actually allow you to stay true to those if you choose to. But like anything you say can be used against you. So I think that a lot of people maybe not come from the place, oh, I'm not allowed to talk about it in that sense, like legally, but more so, I'm not allowed because my lawyers said advised against it, or it's advised against it. So I don't like blame her for not making interviews and talking about it, because I feel like she would so incriminate herself. She would like lose her lawsuit if she would. So, good for her with that, as far as, human to human. Um, But yeah, but then they talk about Wrexham, and it's literally sounding like a Ted Lasso completely. Um, and it she's looking so intensely. She's like staring at my trees. Um, it sounded too much like that, and I love that, and I've wanted to watch to like root for a team like that, but I'm not rooting for Wrexham because I cannot root for Ryan Reynolds. I cannot, even without this whole thing. I just would not. I never liked him. So yeah. Um and he's not Ted Lasso. He's so not Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso was such a good guy, like the character, such a good guy, such a good heart, such a big heart. That is so not Ryan Reynolds. I remember watching during this process some Zoom interview over like some child that had cancer or something, and I think they passed away, and it was their parents that Ryan was like talking with, and it was just such I felt like there's so many moments that he was kind of disrespectful because he was looking away. It was almost like looking bored. Maybe he has ADHD too. I don't know. I don't know, but like Justin has ADHD, and he's able to be present with someone, especially in like those circumstances. So I don't know. I don't think he's a good guy at all. Anyways, and then the I do want to talk about that part
What is
though.
it about her?
Is that Cecily Strong? Yeah.
It's Maybelline.
Obviously. But
It's so random.
I know the songs
Alright.
from the beginning of Frozen, but I do
Yeah.
now have learned
They've gone up a division.
loving, often drunk family you've
Yeah.
ever.
Do you really? Did you like it right away?
I did, because the community is so, they're like the most like ferocious, protective, loving, often drunk family you've
Yeah.
ever had in your life.
Yeah.
And
I've
they're
seen
just like,
clips. I don't know if often is. I might go with all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to come join us.
I would love
there.
to go to a
But
game. Yeah, it
it's-
seems really cool.
It is.
And
My husband compares it. He's like, it's like church being here. And I see what he means. There's something so sacred and so beautiful about that place, and the way that that community honors their sport. And it's not about a game. It's about people coming together. So it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum they're on. Like, everybody puts on the same jersey every day, puts their arms around each other, sings and cries. Grown men crying and hugging and singing. It's just beautiful.
Drunk
it's just
church.
incredible. Drunk church.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but now they're linking a video of her freezing meeting Obama. What the heck? Trying too hard. All right, so it's not about a game, it's about people coming together. So it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum they're on. It's like she's trying to. Oh, sorry. Seems like I have internet issues. Wow, that sounded very robotic. Yeah, it's not about what was I saying? Yeah, it's not about a game. It's not about like people what side of the political spectrum they're on. Everybody puts on the same jersey every day, puts their arms around each other, sings and cries. Grown men crying and hugging and singing is just beautiful. Well, girl, why are you not friends with Justin Baldoni then? Why are you not part of his efforts to support exactly this? Male vulnerability, human vulnerability. What the heck are you talking about? Why are you adding the political spectrum? What? That is such an American thing to say. Such an American thing to say. Such an American thing to say. Also, such a word salad. She just like tries to like touch on whatever the like points that win her points. It's like how many points can you score, and certain words, certain terms give you extra points. That's kind of what it sounds like. And it's not about a game. Okay. I'm pretty sure that the British take soccer pretty strongly. It is about the game. Not as much as like I feel like Brazilians, but pretty sure they're pretty serious about the game. I'm pretty sure it is about the game. I don't know. And if it's not, like, again, that other part is like, how are you even able to appreciate this? What you're saying doesn't make sense because you're not that kind of a team player yourself in any of the movies that we've heard you be a part of. No one talks to you about a team player. No one talks about you as far as like being a team player. They talk about like all these things, but I've not heard anyone say that she's a team player. They talk about how she takes over stuff, how she's brave to, excuse me, to take on whoever, how this or that. Oh god. Oh, sorry, but not that. Anyways, okay, sorry. Moving on. Oh yeah. So that's kind of all my thoughts on this. I just end up saying, what the heck happened? I mean, we know a lot. We kind of know kind of what happened and how it got to where it got, but I do have this thought quite often, like, what happened that this needed to happen, that this lawsuit needed to happen? Because nothing that I've seen her allege or anything is worth what's happening right now. And why? Why is she trying so hard? Why are we having to talk about this? Again, I appreciate the platform that it's kind of given me and stuff, but like, I don't really appreciate why this is such a fight. I guess this is how people felt with Amber Heard at one point, but like, and I feel that way with like wars, period, in the world. Like, we don't, this doesn't need to happen. Like, you realize that, right? This is not mandatory. This is not necessary. This is just frivolous, really. It's just you, maybe your ego, you could say, if subscribe to that kind of psychology. Like, it's that. It's not necessary. You're not fighting a certain fight. So let me pull up what Omar said. I don't know why I'm trying so hard to like I don't know if it's more professional or not more professional, but just whatever. Let me get out of his face here. Okay.
Being victimized because of horrific things that are actually being from gone through and all this and that, whatever. What I know from the women that I represent, that are actually being represented, that are actually experiencing being victimized because of horrific things that have been done to them, they don't look at Lively as a hero. They don't look to her as like this bastion of bravery. They look at her with disdain and disgust because they don't take her seriously. And they think that her plight is cheapening their very real plight. And they think it's a grave disservice to women that are undergoing what they're going through. A young lady being intoxicated beyond consciousness to wake up and discover that she was essayed by her boyfriend and his friend. And then they just F off to wherever. A young lady who had the audacity to underseason food, prompting a huge argument with her husband that led to her physical destruction, basically. I mean, a smashed in face, pretty much, unrecognizable in pictures, month-long stay in the hospital, among other things, and a daughter that witnessed it all.
Like, just listening to that earlier, I felt just very strongly about including this because, again, sometimes it's not that we forget or we lose track of perspective, but it's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things that we're juggling when it comes to even this, but especially just our lives and stuff. And so, but that this case has so much to juggle, and then we don't all have access to such stories, unfortunately, fortunately, depending on, the moment and the perspective you have. I would say unfortunately, because like it puts things into perspective a lot. And I think there's the next thing that I want to cover from Justin Baldoni and one of his casts from a previous movie that talks that if you saw Elsie, she included this, that talks about how well prepared he is for his movies, at least for that movie, and how many resources he had for them in that other movie. Not It Ends With Us, but in that other movie, in Clouds, I believe. And ready to go support them and finding out more about the community that they were representing and so forth and so forth. And it seems like Blake, again, didn't for a second take any of that time, even if he didn't offer resources, but for herself to go and search those resources. And she took this role. And after hearing something like this, you just, again, you get that regrounding into that perspective of how messed up it is what she's really doing. The things that she claims, the smear campaign that she alleges, are just nothing compared to the real life that people are dealing with, that she just speaks about just so casually. I haven't even experienced this, what he's talking about, or anything like it, or have had people that around me that have, and I still feel so much for these people, and I would never dare to like use this for my platform, for my marketing, for my branding, for me to be more well off, for me to have better roles, or to save face. Because part of me thinks, is this like all to save face, that the marketing didn't go well? I don't even care if it was Justin or Ryan or Sony or her or whoever made that marketing branding happen. She had a voice. She had a voice no matter what. She could have spoken up about it then. She could have spoken about it now, about like how she's for women and how like that movie was important to her. She could have said those things. Instead, she went and did a lawsuit. It's one of those things that just tell a person's actual intentions and where they're coming from. I can't put into really good words right now, but it's just like that spidey sense of, oh, something. I see this. I know the name, but it's not coming to my mind right now. But like in anything else that she could have done, worked with women in these situations after the movie, after the premiere, after the criticism, all that stuff. She could have done that. She could have done so much if she actually wanted to help women. Instead, she focused on distraction. Instead, she focused on herself. This is only about her, and she is just damaging any victims that believe she's their savior, because she's just a horrible person in this sense, not as a whole. I still believe that she's a human being and whatever, but like she's literally the opposite of what I think people in that situation are looking to her to be. And it's just so despicable. I don't know. It needs to be like a worse word than despicable. I feel like despicable is not even strong enough, especially after hearing this. And again, this is real. so the perspective of it, and and he is talking post the Seth Myers thing and how she says it. I think he goes on is what I meant. Stop
And
short.
yeah, there was a pushback to them sharing and telling their stories. But what was that pushback have to do with? It had nothing to do with whatever Lively thinks it is. It's because the forces that are controlling those women are right outside of their inner circles, like their family, extended family. What is my mom going to think? What is his mom going to think? What is my children going to think? All of these external pressures, whatever. And that's a different discussion that we don't have to have right now. All I'm saying is, my only point is, when I hear Lively position herself that way, and just to say it like so haphazardly and robotically, I don't know the lady. I don't know what her normal mode of communication is. I've never watched any of her movies. I haven't watched It Ends With Us. And I'm certainly not watching her new Amazon movie, whatever it is. It just came off disingenuous. It came off callous. It came off scripted. It came off rehearsed. It came off as, hey, look, is there anything that I can do to steer PR in our way? And then their attorney's like, yeah, just say this. You're saying everything while at the same time saying nothing at all.
Yeah. Word salad 101, Blake Lively. I mean, she said things, but like it just, she's clearly speaking. I mean, you guys pointed out, I think it was someone else. I don't think it was you, April, or Maria, or but someone in the previous chats pointed out how, like, comparing, using Giselle's words, like, how dare she? Like, how detached is that? How, like, just awful is that? Has nothing to do with that. Her experience is not even close to Giselle's. Like, she's really, like, when you again get perspective again, and you really ground yourself, or when I'm grounding myself and get perspective again like this, like, she's really a horrible, really terrible person to do this, or whoever is advising her. Like, she needs, like, strong help. Almost right. Yeah. Also, I love I mean, I know that not many people like her. I don't really know her much at all, but I don't even know her name. The other, like, lawyer, Emily Baker. Yeah, I love all the pink that's happening on these, like, channels. But yeah, it's like neither here nor there. Where was I? I'm getting my butt beat up, and all you have for me is sarcasm. That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough truth. Omar's takes on things are so refreshing. He gets it. Yeah. I think she's going to milk this and then settle because she doesn't care. It won't make a dent in their lives. You can tell she doesn't care. Yeah, she doesn't care what people think because she doesn't stop. I think she cares what people think because it affects her bottom line and affects her. That's the only thing. And I don't think she'll drop this brand of saving women because she's kind of been on this for a few years. Um, but I think the brand will drop her from itself. Like, I think it's not going to last forever for people to, like, catch on. And I think many people have already caught on because she did this herself too. Because she probably could have, again, skated under the surface. She could have seemed like an activist, but instead she had to, like, air out her dirty laundry. And then people saw her for who she is and what she's doing. They saw for real is kind of what's happening. I don't know that she'll settle because I don't know that Justin's side will want to settle. I don't know what settling is for them right now. Excuse me, but I absolutely think, like he even said, she comes across like she doesn't care. She comes across like she doesn't care, and maybe she is a bad actress. I don't know because like she could show like she cares a little bit more in her speeches. Of course they're scripted, of course. Um and I don't think the lawyer told her to say this. I think she and her PR team or whoever, like I think she's been again saying this in so many interviews, things like this all the time. Um but yeah, she could still come across a little bit more like she cares more, but she doesn't care about these victims. Anytime she's mentioning victims and like, I'm here for the women who don't have a voice, all this stuff, it all is so self-serving language. There's nothing about highlighting and talking like this. I mean, he freaking cares more about these victims than she does. A male lawyer I don't know. Like cares more. Like you can hear he has at least stories. Again, she could say stories just like this if she would do her homework and actually want to, do something for humanity and for women. Again, just like I said with her mom, she doesn't have to go into details. She doesn't have to reveal anything. She can simply say stories that are like detail enough to just come across, to make the point come across. Emily D. Baker, yeah. Um, yeah, sorry, I'm like getting kind of heated, more than I thought. Hand her everything because she's reaching. I love that. Um, then she's clueless when she gets deposed. It's going to be a mess. Oh gosh, yeah, like I can't see this settling, but I also can't see the deposit. I don't. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think. I don't think that'll happen. I don't know. I'm so also so like curious why we haven't heard from the judge as far as like the motion to dismiss stuff. Like he denied Leslie Stone's right or something, but like I'm just surprised that we've not heard back from the rest for the rest. I don't know. Did we? Did I miss something? I've been like having a hard time catching up with everyone. Um, she won't be able to partner with any reputable organizations to further this act. Yeah, is she going to try word salad on Brian Friedman? Yeah, but it'll be on tape, so he doesn't have to like put up with it. But he probably will need a lot of good sleep, or whoever deposes her to like be super sharp. Cause like when people like run you in circles, like you need to like be able to like be really like eagle-eyed. Um I don't think so. I think by now he knows he has to hit her with yes or no questions. Yeah. Doesn't mean that she'll say yes or no. But he'll also know when to let her dig her own grave. Yeah. You remember Amber Heard slipped up in hers. Judge is like, why me? That yeah. I really. That's how I felt like when forget which was it her amended complaint. I think that's when I was saying like the judge is probably like just hating his life right now, just dreading like why did I get chosen for this. So I agree with that. So yeah. um yeah, I don't know, I loved Omar's take on this, and bringing in some really heavy regrounding, perspective giving anecdotes, which is weird to say anecdotes to that, but yeah. um I'm not gonna go into this other than just popping this up and showing. Now I'm like moving over this way. This is Zarna Garg. I'll figure out her name. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. the mom from A Nice Indian Boy. I said, and then wait, the mom from A Nice Indian Boy. Um, was this planned on purpose? She's a stand-up comic, has a book, but like out of all people, this episode specifically had to be her. And then she talks about, and I also mentioned, yeah, there's no mention of the movie A Nice Indian Boy, no mention at all whatsoever. And they just released it in April, but it was like a weird release. So, like, what the heck is happening there? I don't know. But I hope that movie gets its time and maybe like re-releases itself like after all of this or something, because it deserves so much more. It's a really good movie. But I liked that she talked about how in a lot of parts of the world being called an American woman is a slur. So relate to that. I so know what she means. But I love what she says about it too, because she says any bad idea like freedom of speech probably came from there, America. So Seth asks, like, so did you adapt to American life or whatever? And she's like, I'm now so American. I not only have opinions, I monetize them. And I was like, whoa, that's the mic drop right there. That's inspirational mic drop for me too with all of this, even though like I don't know, I kind of have like a maybe not kind of a crappy platform. Sometimes I feel like I'm not saying much at all. But that's like that's woman boss moves, and that's like empowered, independent, feminist woman talk, not like suing men for nothing. Anyways, and then and then Colin Jost's thing. All right. Um, yeah, going to have to watch the video. Yeah, I'll link, of course, all the videos. All of these links will be below. Colin Jost. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I haven't, and I don't know when this happened.
Please sit down, sit down.
The genetic testing company 23andMe says it is bankrupt, and also 2% Cherokee.
I like that.
I'm English, Irish, German, and Cherokee.
We talked about the Cherokee thing. I forget who brought that to the chat. And we also, I do remember the 23andMe because I remember thinking like, oh, maybe I should go. But I know I opted to have them like discard my DNA sample or whatever. But who knows, at the end of the day, it's a risk anyways. But so I do remember that. I just missed that because I didn't know about the Cherokee thing, Blake Lively thing at that time. But I love how this put it together, It's like, yeah, sounds like that's what he did. I think that's all Blake Lively stuff. I want to just share some quick Justin things, and then I think the rest will have to wait. I know Katy Perry, I'm moving to Monday or whenever. The news, I kind of covered the news. It was really Bernie situation. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Also, I did put up finally the Donna video on my Patreon, and I kind of really want to share it on this, honestly. One reason I don't is because I don't want the highlight being, because it's really so little about Donna and just more as a commentary to like humanity and the split of humanity as far as like biased or not biased. Oh, what's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. I think it starts with a C, where you're like picking and choosing who to have sympathy for or empathy for or tears for, whatever. And so I think it's a commentary on that, really. And I really just kind of want that kind of out there in the world. So I might put it just on here. Maybe I'll edit the Donna pieces out, which is kind of hard. Because I just don't want that to be the focus, and I don't want to get into like that kind of algorithm thing. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. But I finally did that. And then yeah, okay, Justin things. Cool. Oh, and then the Bill Belichick thing. I didn't know. I finally watched a little bit more. I didn't know. That's like actually worrisome. I don't even know the guy. I don't really like the guy, but I was kind of worried about him because there was this one clip that Billy Bush said that was like really messed up. His girlfriend, his young girlfriend, 24 years old, whatever. But like the interviewer asked, "How did you guys meet? Like I see her over there, whatever." And she's like, "We're not talking about that." Like with that kind of like tone, even harsher, just so weird. And then he said that she needs to be CC'd on every communication for as far as like the team, the football team, like his business. Like it just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening there. I don't like it. I, again, don't really care about football. Don't really care about this guy, about this coach. Haven't heard very great things about him as a human being. I don't know. People love him. Dave loves him, because he's New England, yay, Patriots, whatever. But like, whatever. But that's like really, really messed up. Um, there was a segment on Weekend Update, I think he wrote about Joanne Fabric going out of business. I saw that too. Claimed that the store, Michael raped her. What? Then Joanne immediately copped to lying and took it back. I missed that. I'm going to have to watch that back. I remember because I went into Joanne Fabrics and discovered like what? And then I remember them covering it. I missed that. I exited myself from her and Zach's channels because of the selective outrage they display and the bias in their chats community. Yeah, I see patterns in who they're okay with and who they're not. Yeah, I mean, you said it so much better than me. The selective outrage. Yeah, that's what I kind of meant. Or, the selective anything, the selective sympathy, the selective activism, the selective whatever. I don't really like that part. Like, if you're for human life, be for all human life. Or if you're for women's safety, be for all women's safety or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Um, absolutely, chat send me off for my opinion. Yeah, yeah. I remember like when the whole Dave Neal. That's when we were talking about it, like that. The chat got nasty. The chat got really nasty. Um, yeah, but big platforms, and for me, it also was kind of like enraging and sad at the same time because that's what sells. That's what people want to see. I mean, how big is her channel and how many people interact with her? And when you were watching, I mean, there's Dave too, and there's so many, and he has more technically than her, but I think he's also been more on. Has he been more in her? I don't even know when she started. She just popped on my feed because of the, excuse me, Blake and Justin thing. But I know he has more followers. He gained a lot with this too. But yeah, again, I guess it's not quite like that. But I do think a lot about like how that's what people seek. Sensationalism, cattiness is what my limited vocabulary calls it, but it's like this just talking bad about people, gossiping, that kind of gossip that's like really just hateful or like pitting people against other people. There's an other involved, other. I started calling it now othering, like making people other. Um, Racism is with that too. Sexism is like the other, because like just I remember I forget what I was watching, but I remember learning about this concept of other and how like that's from like tribe days where you had to like protect your tribe and your land and whatever, and so you had like your territory, and the other was bad because like it had to be bad so you could stay safe, so you could survive and your tribe could survive and keep going and procreate further and blah blah blah. So it's like it's um it's biological in us to other people, and that's why it's so important. Like what Dave does is to connect with others and learn about that culture, about that person, educate yourself. That's why I called Donna like ignorant, and I used ignorance a lot when I was like talking about it, because it's you're not educating yourself. Like you can be educated and you can have a lot of knowledge about something, but there's a lot of ignorance when you're biased in whose lives are more important or like worthy of being safe and whose lives aren't, and things like that. So yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, the John Fabrics thing was very veiled, but I think it was aimed at Blake. Yeah, like I just need them to be a little bit more on the nose. I like working for it, but not this much. I don't know that much to be able to understand all this stuff. But they're probably scared because I think we are talking about how WME has like SNL or Lauren or something too. So um I don't think we'll see that, but I would love for them to have that spine, to be strong enough to be like, we're going to talk about this. Oh, no, not that they have SNL, but because, for them to get celebrities, big celebrities are part of WME many times, and that's, why they need to play nice. That's what we're saying. Exactly. I don't like channels like that. Yeah. They both play dumb and ignorant, innocent to be mean, and to justify how they cover stories. Yeah. Very nasty. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad I mean, not I'm glad I'm not the only one as far as like, oh, yay, ego trip. But like, I'm glad I'm not the only one as far as, because I really feel very strongly about that. And it worries me when I see this and I see how much reward there is to this, and to like just breeding nastiness, breeding misguidance, I called it in the video, breeding I'll post it. I know I was going to keep it to Patreon, but I'm like such a small channel anyway. So like I don't really feel like that's the video worthy enough to like buy membership, but and also cuz I feel so strong. I mean, this is the stuff that I like, that hits me like from the heart. Like this is the stuff that I love talking about, is the philosophy of humanity and and discourse and stuff, psychology and everything. So yeah, and in today's world I just feel like it's such, I don't want to be quiet. Like I've been quiet. I've been so scared to speak for so many years, more from a personal level, like just wanted to keep my relationship safe, and I wanted to keep this safe, and I wanted to keep that safe. And it didn't win me anything. It didn't keep me safe. It didn't keep my relationship safe. And so, and when I see the world and how we've sort of done that on a mass scale, we need to speak up a bit more, even though it's so freaking scary. And I feel like we've really become very soft when we think about just like what, well, it seems like 30 years ago, the 70s, but it's a little bit more than that. Hashtag I'm 39. But yeah, so like it wasn't that long ago when people risked their lives. So most of our humanity, people risk their lives for causes, for safety, for rights, for etc. And we're afraid to even speak up, and we're playing to like the nastiness and the dumbness and the numbers and the like base low kind of parts of our brains and our societies and whatever. Like no, like lift people up. And that's literally what I said in my message to her too. Like Like, you have such a important platform, pretty big platform. Like, you have the responsibility to lift people up. It's not exactly word for word what I said, but what I meant. Um, and so do that instead of the opposite. So yeah, anyways. But I do want to share, speaking of lifting people up and having a good platform and all this stuff. Good night, Angel. See you next live. So this is, I forget her name already, Madison Iceman and Elsie, that found this. And yeah, just wanted to share what she says. And as Elsie points out, there's a lot of soul mentioned when it comes to Justin Baldoni. And I've not heard anyone talk about Blake's soul being a great soul, a good soul, like soul. What a soul she has.
Clouds, you have Nocturne, there's Feast of Seven Fishes. Let's start with Clouds.
Yes.
Because you had a sweet post of how excited you are for everyone to see this film. And I'm just curious what it was that was so special about it and why you're so excited for everyone to see it.
So Clouds is about the life of Zach Sobiak, who passed away in 2013 from osteosarcoma. And he wrote songs with his best friend. And the day of his funeral, one of his songs hit #1 on iTunes, which was called Clouds. I mean, it is.
I believe that was also in part, if not more than in part, not to like credit Justin for it, but like because of Justin's documentary, I believe it was. Yeah, because Justin did that documentary leading up to that point, and they ended up completing his song in this movie. The guy who played the guy, oh my gosh, wow, brain. Anyways, sorry, I heard noise. He ended up completing the song, and then before he passed, Justin gathered a bunch of different artists like Jason Mraz, I think she mentions him, and others to like sing the song for him, his own song for him. So like this Justin Baldoni, we're trying to annihilate this person from the world. We need more people like this freaking Blake.
It is one of the most special projects I think I've ever worked on in my life. I mean, it's about someone real, and we're portraying real people. And we actually got really close with the family as well, and the people we're playing. So they were on set all of the time. They had a lot to do with the casting. You know, their handprint is very much on the film. And actually,
which also kind of shows why maybe Justin was vulnerable to let, we saw like, oh, he doesn't have a spine, whatever, which I disagreed with, but people were saying that like he let her take control of his movie, etc., blah blah blah. And what Paul Feig suggested to him, but it seems like that's just how he wants to do. And I think it's a great way to do movies when you can trust the people that are involved. Blake Lively was in this family though.
Justin Baldoni, who directed the whole thing, he
Yeah.
directed the documentary, the My Last Days documentary that Zach was a part of. So if anyone's going to direct this movie, it has to be Justin. Yeah.
How was he as a director? He was on the show a little while ago, and I got a chance to talk to him, and he is just what an energy. Just like the sweetest, most genuine dude.
He's a fantastic human being and an incredible director too. I mean, he's so good at capturing, and he's the first actor director I've ever worked with. And he's so good at just capturing like just the essence and the soul to everything you're saying, and just I don't he was able to pull things out of us that I've never been able to do before.
You think that's because since he's also an actor, like he kind of,
which speaks to what people are saying as far as like it was just too much for Blake. She basically was expected to be more vulnerable than she likes to be.
knows the shorthand, or kind of like knows like a language that maybe like a non-actor director isn't privy to, or does he have like an experience that's
I think
unique?
so. I definitely think it has a little bit to do with that. Also just who he is as a person. He just has such a pure, genuine heart and soul, and yeah, he's just a great human being.
It really is. We embraced at the end of the talk. He gave me a hug.
Did he?
Like at the end of the talk, he's like, we hugged, and I remember one, felt very safe, and two, man, smells amazing.
You smell
did-
so good. He is,
glad he's
yeah,
working on it.
no.
I'm glad that's consistent.
He always smells good, looks nice, and his
put
wife is
together.
beautiful. I'm a huge fan of hers too. So yeah, his whole family. I'm like, how do you get that? What did you do right in life to
What did you do right in life to get that beautiful family?
get all of that?
Sometimes God gives with both hands, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
But he's a great dude, and that sounds like an amazing project.
See?
Yeah. So that's one part, and then the other part is Cole Sprouse. And like Elsie points out, this was years before It Ends With Us, and it's easy for us to support Justin, and we know like, oh yeah, we're supporting, but I think we have kind of I didn't know that much about Justin. Like I knew about Man Enough, the book. I didn't read it at that time, but I knew about it. I knew about the podcast. Didn't really listen to the podcast, but I did listen to the conversations with the men around the table, the talk around the table, or whatever, a little bit before any of this. Like when it premiered on his YouTube or Wayfarer's YouTube, I knew of Jane the Virgin. I knew of him. I knew the TED Talk. I knew the cringy proposal video, all this stuff. But there's so much like I didn't know about this, and to hear people talk about him, and again, she's wrong. Elsie's wrong in terms of people do talk about Blake, in let me like also see myself here. They do talk about her in nice ways sometimes. Like Salma has nice words about her, but the words are different. The words are different. Good night, April. Have a good night. So yeah.
Fibrosis is a pretty underrepresented community. And so it felt like a great opportunity to shed light on that. But really, until I met with the director, Justin Baldoni, I was pretty trepidatious because if misrepresented, you can do a lot of damage to certain communities of people.
Isn't that saying so much already? That's saying so much that this and Cole and his brother, like they've gone through a really hard time. They've talked about it. They have very grounded takes on things. They're very cautious and stuff. So that like adds weight, but you might not know that. I don't know that much about that either. I remember because I watched, was it Riverdale, and then something like these interviews and things with them that stemmed from that, and wanting to like get. I watched Zach and Cody too when I was younger. But yeah, anyways.
So I wanted to make sure that he was familiar and passionate about the subject matter, and he just so happened to be the single most qualified person for that role. And he really helped us along with the research and getting us into character and setting up a web of connections that allowed us to do our research and meet with patients and medical professionals. And then it all seemed to ease my worries about the project.
That sounds like so much effort and resources and being prepared and preparing your cast and preparing the environment. I did the one live a few lives ago about how the marketing was a little off. Ofi Doki did this whole thing, and I stand by doing that. Again, I don't want, because primarily I did that because I felt like there is evidence here that is not just like biased from her. It's like on the web. And also it is, I don't want to be, one-sided. I don't want to put blinders on, or like present that to you too, like blinders on type of information. So yeah, but having said that and listening to this, because this is about 5 feet apart in the same movie that was about, that whole conversation was about. Again, and I said that even then, like sometimes marketing, sorry, my talk. Sometimes marketing efforts. It looked like amateur marketing. That's what it looked like, what they were doing, and they are kind of amateurish. So um that's what again, like, if you know enough about the details, you can give people different benefit of doubt, because like where they might have been coming from, because again, none of us are perfect and all that stuff. But yeah, to hear, I mean, he says some pretty strong, very strong stuff in favor of Justin.
It's not so much like I knew I was going to take it quite seriously, but the actors can only really control what they do on stage. The post-production cycle is very much out of our control. And at that point, you have to put your faith and trust into the people in that post-production cycle. And big studio interests or whatever else can really misrepresent at that point. So I wanted to make sure that the people we were working with, the team that I was going to be working with, had the same mission statement as I did.
We're very committed to telling the story of people with cystic fibrosis.
Exactly right.
What did you know about CF prior to
that? Sony, it ends with us
going into the movie, and what did you learn?
I don't know.
I didn't know much.
Did you start working with her?
Justin, when you said he's the most qualified person to make this movie, like, he is, like, from a soul level. He makes short documentaries about people with terminal illnesses, and Claire was one of the people he made a documentary about. And so they became really close friends because of that, and then meeting her inspired him to make the movie.
Wow.
The word soul has been used to describe this man in almost every one of these interviews I've played.
Yeah. And as she says, it says a lot. So what thoughts did I have? Yeah, I spoke about Cole. I think it's Cole. Yeah, Cole. It's like, which one? How thoughtful Cole was about this project, and how he sought to work with people who were also as thoughtful, as like prepared, as well-meaning as he would be, as he would want to be a part of that kind of team. And so how Justin was so involved, so deep into the subject matter, and so helpful to them, and didn't treat it like this frivolous, this like, oh, this will get me rich, this will get me seen, this will get me this will get me that. He really took it seriously. There's nothing wrong with wanting money, wanting fame, wanting this or wanting that, wanting a platform. I'm not saying that's what Justin wants. I'm saying there is nothing wrong with that innately. It's when that is the mission, and that's the goal, and that's the point of what you're doing, versus, that's like a means to do more of what you're doing. And like having money to survive, having money to like grow, to help, save for your children, or save for your parents, or your own elder years, or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with these concepts of like fame and money and platforms and whatever. It's when that's the point of what you're doing, and that's what it comes across, at least Blake is doing. That when she talks about, I'm here to like, because other women can speak, comes across so like robotic, so disingenuous, as Omar was saying. Like, not like it's coming from her soul, from her core, from deep inside her, from her heart, from anything. Yeah, pure heart, soul, things like this used to describe him. And also, like, when you hear them talk, they don't sound rehearsed. I mean, Cole sounds he's very matter of fact, and he's pretty harsh with what he's saying. He's very direct. He's very, like, just speaking, not scripted. So that's another important thing, because you could say, well, oh, they're just saying this because they were, like, made to say this. It didn't sound like any of them said it because they were given talking points, like, this is how you should talk about Justin. That is so messed up. It's so messed up, but stuff that happens. The other thing that Elsie points out in this video is that he married Gina Rodriguez and her husband. Justin married them. He was the officiant. And which, we all kind of knew that, talked about that, whatever. But like that again, that like, little detail of just the cherry on top of who gets married, what like husband, what partner wants to get married to have the efficient of that gets them married to their partner be the love interest of their partner. Because Justin was Gina's love interest for most of Jane the Virgin, or a lot of it. They had a baby, on the show and all this stuff. Both Gina and her husband, now husband, wanted or were more than okay with him being the person that married them. Like, that is definitely not something to overlook, for sure. The Jane the Virgin behind the scenes, if you've not seen them, Google or like YouTube them. It's so nice. It literally is the reason why I went back to acting class and why I went back into like, I do want to make movies. I do want to try to like have some sort of impact, even though things like this make me feel like the lawsuit made me feel like the bad guys always win, the bad guys are always more powerful, and truth doesn't matter, goodness doesn't matter, good intentions don't matter. And who am I? I'm only one person. Between Justin and Bernie, I feel like I have my inspirational guides for now. And then one final little thing. I'm so excited about the Etoile, but I'll talk about it on Monday. First thing on Monday, that's what I'm going to talk about. But just to wrap up the Justin situation, or maybe I'll do a video. Maybe I'll do a video on Etoile. Okay, because I've been doing a little better with making videos. So this is Justin. This is the hug moment, and I actually saw this. I don't know if I saw it because of the lawsuit or I saw this before. I don't know, but
out some time
still
and
awesome
hanging
to
out
see.
with us here on Build and being here on the show.
If you've got pink salt.
Oh my gosh. And I'm pretty sure these are AI. She looks very AI talking like,
I really want to get deep into this, but the first thing I genuinely want to ask, how are you doing, man? Just how are you?
Thank you for asking me, actually. I'm good, man. I'm really good. I'll be honest. I've been
Also, he has a My Intent bracelet.
I've been struggling recently because things are getting so busy, and I'm trying to just figure out how I can maintain and build and jump into these cool opportunities and also be present as a husband and a father. So when people ask me genuinely how I'm doing, I try to be real, because we all just like, oh, we're great, that's awesome. Moving on to the next question.
Yeah, things are good. Things are good.
But I'm really interested, especially at this point in my life.
Which is like kind of odd thinking now about the Seth Myers interview with like, oh, you don't want to talk about building a business and Frozen. You want to ask me about my kids and my family?
Like going deeper. And like, we're all good. You can look on Instagram. Everybody's happy. Nobody's depressed. Everybody's on vacation all the time, right? But the reality is, like, I'm really good, but I definitely am asking some big questions. Like, I got a little boy and a little girl. How are you?
Me?
So I really wanted to show this. I don't know. I think Elsie included this. I think she included something else. I don't remember. But this part specifically because like the genuineness of and the like realness that he has in this moment, talking about how highlighting how like everyone's good on Instagram, how fake Instagram is, how we portray like the best, the highlight reel of our lives on social media, and how like life can be good, but it can also be challenging and can also bring challenging moments or challenging questions or stuff like that. And yeah, I just wanted to like highlight again because this guy supposedly, Blake wants us to believe that he's this horrible person that doesn't care and just what? I mean, that's not what she's saying, but that's what she's implying, that he's like this terrible person where he's again just coming across so much more genuine, so much more real, so much more like pointing out fake rather than being the fake. You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
First of all,
How are you,
congratulations.
man?
First time I've ever gotten a ping-ponged right back. That doesn't happen often. I'm doing very well. It's
And how he put his mic down. Okay. You, because I mean, also like the other guy might have not wanted to talk more or whatever. But the moment that he noticed, like, also being present with someone and having that empathy, like, oh, you want to talk a little bit more than just like, I'm doing fine. I'll let you have that moment. Go ahead. Like, I'm listening. I'm here for you.
funny. I was actually, if we're gonna be honest and be deep, let's stick with the spirit here, man.
Yes.
I was watching some of this show last night in preparation for today, and I was getting a little overwhelmed because I was intimidated. I was intimidated by the depth of the conversation, by the openness, the honesty. And I was watching. My wife comes in the room. I must have had this look on my face. She was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know if I got to figure this out. I don't know what I'm gonna do." And she was like, "Well, what's the matter?" And I told her the same thing I just told you. I feel a little out of my depth. And she goes, "You know what you should do?" And I was like, "No, look at me." And she goes, "You should tell him that." I said, "Tell him that." She goes, "The whole point of this thing is to be open, to be honest, to be vulnerable, expose yourself. Let him know that it worked, that you're sitting here and—
Bring it in, buddy.
Oh, my God. Oh, thank you. Can I, so one, thank you.
I don't know. That just moves me every time. I think I've seen this moment of this interview more than than the interview itself. I mean, come on. The thing that like comes to my mind the most is we cannot let this man stop existing in our world, in our media, in creating art, in creating things that help us grow, that help us be better as human beings. We cannot let that end because someone else has embarked on this like hunt for him for whatever freaking reason that is quite self-serving. Maybe just to like just another body to step on to get to the top. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not even as personal as anything that's looking like. Yes, he's rare. I agree. Yeah. It's just so moving seeing this. It's so moving. I'll link the rest, obviously I'll link it below. And I want to see more. I want to highlight more. You know, Lauren does the voices of supporters for Justin, and she also includes some clips sometimes of Justin in her videos. Elsie created this, one of her latest videos on this too. I really think that it's time for us to not forget about Justin, not just like fighting Blake, but also fighting for Justin, which I think is kind of not the same thing. Yeah, it's like highlighting and remembering like the goodness that this man has brought into the media world, into Hollywood, into our world, and even to many that never even knew about him before this. And no matter what happens, you know, in this lawsuit and so forth, like at least holding on to this and highlighting this, because he has quite a lot. He has a lot, you know, on the Table Talks and the Man Enough podcast, so much on the Man Enough podcast. But just like highlighting his face, his like just presence, I think it's important too. So, thank you for being here. I am going to move the Katy Perry and the Etoile later. Just because I don't want it to be, it's a very short, well, kind of short, the Etoile part, but I want it to be more accessible to people, and not many people, I think, finish these lives and watch to the end. And yeah, but if you can watch Etoile, it is on Prime. If you don't want to support Amazon, totally understand. Um, I'm having a hard time, doing this, but it is such a beautiful thing, and I'm just in a space with Etoile, and then with this, I want beauty. I want to like, yes, see and not forget the bad stuff, but also like not forget the good stuff either, and not forget the beauty of this world and the people and the things that come out of it. And I'm so excited to go, unfortunately, finish this season of Etoile just now after we're going to be done here. If you watched all the way through the end, in the replay crew, drop a dolphin. This is so weird. Put a dolphin in the comments. Drop a dolphin. Oh my gosh, that's what people say though on YouTube. Drop a comment below. Drop something. Anyways, and then I'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that Arnaldo is doing better. And it's also, I'm so happy that other people, other people, all of you guys are happy for that too. I don't know. This is again, I can be distracted by like just junk, and I think sometimes it's worth the fight and worth the distraction, but I love when I get back to the stuff that I'm really about, like, you know, just that kind of reminder, like seeing everyone just be so happy for Arnaldo feeling better. Like, we're all strangers, I think. I don't know, maybe you guys know each other, or some of you know each other, but like, we're all strangers and on the internet. And even if we weren't strangers, it's just that, like, I don't know. It just touches my heart. And that's like the stuff that I want to see more in the world, and the things that I want to be a part of more in the world, the things that I want to do more in the world. And we all get distracted. We all get like tired, and we all become petty, or we all become this, but it doesn't matter. I'm learning, and I'm trying my best to like learn that consistency is not just this straight line. Consistency is like up and down, but as long as it kind of keeps growing or just like continues and not stopping, that's like good. Oh, thank you, Maria. I hope so. I have definitely a lot to learn and a lot to grow still. Like, not grow like as people, yes, people that watch it, but like I have a lot to grow as far as like a human being and this channel. And like I said, I go into like the pettiness, or like the self not self-serving as much, kind of like just self-talk, like it's me, 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 and me, 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 me. I'm also, I think, coming from a pretty lonely place right now in my life, where I don't really have many people that I like bother with, like, oh, this is what's happening in my mind right now, this is what's happening, oh, this is the cool thing that happened today, or whatever. So that kind of comes up in here. But thank you. You show us respect. Oh. I'm a very tough cookie sometimes, as far as like, I don't know why I don't somehow I don't show emotion very easily. Like, if you give me a gift, I have poker face. This is like me, my mom, maybe my mom not so much, my grandmother, like we just have this poker face. There's a lot of like, I guess, dismissiveness, like inner dismissiveness or something, but that made me tear up a little bit inside, genuinely. That's like, I don't know. I'm just very, it's all I hope, not all I hope, but it's one of the big things that I hope for, is that I do show you guys respect, that I respect you, and not just you, but just people in general. And I keep saying, like, I get off track because I'm human, and I get triggered, and I'm not completely healed, and I have my issues, and I have my frustrations and all this stuff. And I try my best to respect you guys and everyone involved, even Donna, and even anyone, even, the Israel guy. or Russian guy or whoever, like, and even Trump. Like, I feel like everyone, I want to like respect, the core of people. And yeah, just do better, just contribute to the betterment of this world rather than not. So that means a lot. Thank you. I'm home, and hold me accountable if I don't. If I slip. Not like the little ones, because I redirect, but if you see me not redirect, if you see me like slipping and slipping and slipping and not coming back to like respecting and all that stuff, like, hold me accountable to that. Let me know. But thank you. I appreciate that. I'm so glad. That's what I want. So thank you. Have a wonderful night. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Was going to do Zumba tomorrow. I might not. We'll see. But yeah, dance a little bit, love a little bit, watch some good shows. I know you love your horror, Maria. But like maybe give a little bit of a chance to like something like, I don't know. I don't know actually right now. Besides Etoile, I'm just like fixated on this one. Ted Lasso. I don't know. Some good things. But yeah, I'm gonna go. Oh my gosh, if you could see my dog right now. I'm gonna end on this picture of my dog. I'll take a picture because the camera is a little harder to move. And so like she's such a weird animal. Oh, and my parakeet isn't feeling good, so hopefully she's okay. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. Kind of focused. That's my dog right now. So, yeah. A new video came out. Wait, a new video from who? I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend. See you guys Monday. Have a good night. Sorry for keeping you so late. Thank you for being here though. And bye. Peace, love, and compassion. I'm just gonna horror stories, of course. Yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting. I feel like it's conveniently forgetting. Okay. Well, enjoy the horror story and or the horror video, and hope it brings you good dreams. Yeah, have a for baby. Yeah, have a good night. Bye. Peace, love, and compassion. And I'm just gonna like quietly go out. No song. There was that one song I forget. I don't know. I don't remember what song, but it's late. All right. Bye.